9:21 remaining here in the first quarter in Orem, Utah. Lancers 0, Tigers 0.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I stood proud and said, "A rain gutter and siding installer." Tim Brown Jr. here, fourth-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
And back to action here. We've got 9:21 remaining here in the first quarter in Orem, Utah. We take a look at the Granger offense. That one's going to be an incomplete pass as the defensive line from the Tigers got in there quick.
And again, you can just see the size difference here. That defensive line is massive. Absolutely overwhelming the offensive line for Granger there.
Now, I wasn't able to find a depth chart for the offensive line for this Granger team. Got one name on there that's pretty good, but we're just going to see the defensive line from Orem just kind of be overpowering tonight as you look and see there a gain of maybe 1 or 2.
And the center and the right guard just unable to create a hole there for the running back. Swallowed up by an Orem defense that seemed to know the run was coming.
Quarterback for the Lancers is the transfer out of Scottsdale, Arizona, number 1, Owen Griffin. He drops back, the pocket is collapsing, and he's going to run for it. He's got, oh, hit hard! Oh, my!
And what a play there from the safety coming up for Orem, able to stop them from getting a first down. Quarterback saw the pocket was collapsing, stepped up, thought he had a lane, unable to shake off the tackler, setting up 4th down.
Wow! That's all I can say there is wow. It's going to be 4th and manageable. 4th and very short. They're going to call it 4th and inches.
They give him a first down on that after a little bit of discussion.
Again, it's the first game for the referees as well. You're going to see a little bit of rust out of the referees, but luckily we're getting the right calls made out here tonight by Paul Johnson and his crew. We've got just under 7 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Excuse me, that is 8 minutes. Bit hard to see the scoreboard from our position here up in the booth here at the Orem High School Football Stadium. We're going to bring up 2nd and 13 after the false start on the Granger offensive line. And they're going to get movement again. That's going to be another 5 yards back. That's going to be the right tackle, number 62. Moa Havili, the 6'3", 275-pound junior. Back-to-back false starts now brings it to 2nd and 17.
And the Orem student section starting to get into it a little.
Pocket collapses again, and he's going to be brought down hard for the sack. That is the BYU commit, number 1 on the young season.
And that was a design quarterback sneak from the beginning, just trying to get some of the yardage back from the penalties. Offensive line tried to sell it. Defense did not buy it. This 4-man front from Orem is dominating the line of scrimmage early on.
And that's what Lance Reynolds was telling me before the game. We'll get to more of that in a minute as he gets knocked down again. And guess who that is that's going to be credited with the sack? Number 91, Junie Moala.
So just a big series here from Junie Moala, single-handedly ending the first offensive drive of the year for the Granger Lancers.
And that's going to bring out the punt team. Granger, without a real kicking specialist, will turn to their wide receiver, number 0, Uli Figuel, who punted for them a bit last year along with Tide. And that's going to go over his head, and that's going to go through the back of the end zone for a safety. 2-0, but that is going to be a safety. 2-0 the score here early as the Tigers jump out on top. It's brand new long snapper Lancers this year, and it's the first snap of the season, and it goes over the head of the punter. It's a bit brutal, and we'll see it's a mix between the punt team and the kickoff team here. But let's take a look at one of our replays here. One of those big hits.
Yeah, you'll just see on the sack right before that punt that went awfully terrible for Granger. The pocket was just unable to hold up there for Granger. Tried to step up. Moala got his arm away from his offensive lineman, just tripped up the quarterback and got the sack.
That's Junie Moala, transfer from Davis. That kid is pretty incredible.
And that four-man front for Orem looks dangerous early on.
You got Junie Moala, Ceci Nelson, Moti Lavaki, and Calvin Gardner up front. That's a tough D-line to beat, ranked the number 2 in the nation. And that punt went straight up and straight back. Will be not even 10 yards, wouldn't even be good for an onside punt.
And so everything going wrong early here for Granger. Apart from a good first defensive stand, the offense went backwards. The special teams is spiraling.
Spiraling's a good way to put it, because that kick right there had zero spiral on it as it came funneling back down to the turf. So Orem, it's their second year here in this stadium, or you could call it the field, I guess. Stadium's been the same for a long time, but brand new field that they debuted last year. Got a beautiful tiger paw. Take a look there at the sideline, a nice view of the field from a lower level. Refs still discussing.
I think Orem wants to decline that penalty. The ball went out about the 29. And they spotted it at the 35 due to the kicking penalty because it went out of bounds. So Orem's going to decline here, and they're going to move the ball back up.
See, this is why we have Andrew as our color commentator tonight. One of the best we have in the business here at Apollo Streams. And if you're just joining us, the score is 2-0 after a bad snap on a punt. Went over the head of the punter and out the back of the end zone as the Orem Tigers are up 2-0 with that safety.
The referees are continuing to discuss where exactly to spot the ball. They're going to decide to keep it at the 35, which is a little puzzling to me.
You know, I think these refs and a lot of the players and coaches, I think there's been a lot of puzzles tonight. You know, we're just over halfway through the first quarter, the first game of the season. Everyone's still a little new, but we'll get more unrusted as the game goes on. The snap to Ka'awa, hands off to Stonebreaker. Stonebreaker's going to go up the middle, good for a gain of 2. And in there on the tackle again for the third time tonight is number 43, Ifo Pili.
Yeah, and that defense for Granger is an early bright spot thus far, limiting the gains on the ground. The passing game hasn't been there. 0 for 2, I believe, on the night is Taden Ka'awa.
This Granger defense recorded a numerous amount of sacks last year. They're going to look to the side. They're going to go with the screen outside. Hit hard. He's still on his feet. He's going to push for the first down.
And that's everything you want out of a running back coming out of the backfield receiving. Catches it, quickly goes upfield, hard hitting, and able to push through for a tough first down.
The man's name is Oliver Bills, backup quarterback, backup running back, and he's going to give the Tigers a first down. Now comes number 44 for the Tigers.
And it looks like Granger's switching up their defensive formation. They've got 4 men up front and a bit more of a 4-3.
The snap to Kawa, hands off. He's going to still be pushing. There's some extracurricular activity going on.
Flag on the play.
Lots of dirty laundry on the field. We'll see what the officials decide to call here.
It looks like it was a face mask on the defense. They'll send it up 15 more yards.
And you'll hear him throughout the night. PA announcer Brian Ellingford here, one of the English teachers at Orem High School, just received some stuff in the mail from Puka Nakua today. Was showing me before the game, just got a signed football card.
Puka Nakua, one of the probably the most famous Orem High School graduate ever.
He'd be right up there with Lavelle Edwards for sure. It's going to be one of those two. You're going to name the stadium after someone. You maybe name the field after Nakua and the stadium after Lavelle, but you already got Lavelle Edwards Stadium out in Provo. And Calva turned down a chance to play at BYU, going to Alabama. Here's the throw on the left side. Good blocking there. He's going to still be on his feet, pushed out at the 2-yard line. Bo Famuli with the reception.
And that was a well-executed screen. One of the defenders read it, but the receivers were able to just push him outside just enough to give the receiver a chance to catch it and turn upfield for a gain of about 8 or 9.
And you'll hear a lot of assumptions on the yardage. The scoreboard's in a poor position for us to be able to see it consistently. We'll take a look at our field view here. Lots of men in the backfield. They're going to give it to Kojima. Kojima's going to get in. First touchdown of the year for the Tigers.
And again, that just goes back from the key to the game for Orem. Dominate the line of scrimmage. There was absolutely nobody there to stop the running back. A pretty clear avenue for him for the first touchdown of the year.
You saw a lot of big men in the backfield there for Orem that would be there to block, and they paved the way, and that's Easton Kojima, who's listed as a linebacker for this Orem team. As we're going to see a brand new kicker out for the Tigers with Kawe Akana not in uniform tonight. Point after attempt is up and good, and it's 9-0 for the Tigers.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I stood proud and said, "A rain gutter and siding installer." Tim Brown Jr. here, 4th generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
That is RGS Exteriors and Construction. We'd like to thank them for being one of our sponsors this year here on Apollo Streams, partnering up with KUTV and the Sinclair Broadcasting Group. I'd like to thank KUTV and the Sinclair Broadcasting Group for carrying our games this year on their YouTube and Facebook channels. You can find that is the KUTV YouTube and KUTV Facebook. As back deep to receive these will be Manisela Taina and Tusi Manatu for the Lancers. Kick is up and going to be fielded by Tanawatu. He's still got room. That's not Tanawatu, excuse me. That is number 0, Uli Figiel.
And a pretty solid return. He was this close to being able to break it, but was just tripped up by a few Orem Tigers there before he broke up the middle. We'll take a look here at the field level of that touchdown. You'll see just how easy it was for them to get into the end zone.
Easton Kojima, as he goes up the middle, transfer from Maple Mountain this year. See it in slow motion as we're back underway. That's just going to be another run up the middle. And guess who it is? That's Easton Kojima, the man who scored the touchdown, who's in there on the tackle for the Tigers.
So that brings up a 2nd and 9, excuse me. Granger's got to get some kind of efficiency, some good plays, just string together a couple good plays, get a first down, get into a rhythm here.
You know, the first-year quarterback, Owen Griffin, who has room but hit hard. That is Will Rasmussen. Folks, remember the name, Will Rasmussen. He is one of the best defensive backs in the state of Utah. Has offers from Washington, has offers from Hawaii, Arkansas, Texas A&M, excuse me, not Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, visited Alabama at the Iron Bowl last year. Will Rasmussen, only a junior, one of the best players on this Orem defense. Griffin looks to find his man. He's going to miss him, the intended receiver on the play, number 4, Monasela Taua Ta'aina. And that'll bring up 4th down with a sloppy punt snap. You wonder if they'll keep the offense on the field right here.
And the quarterback and the receiver were just not on the same page there. Quarterback looked like he thought the receiver was going on an out route. Receiver came in on a drag and just missed.
Lots of miscommunication happening early here between all facets, both for Orem, for Granger, and even the officials having a tough time tonight. But that'll bring out the punt team again. You wonder, and that's another bad snap. He's going to get the punt away. That's a great punt. That's going to be filled by Beckham Curtis. Beckham Curtis trying to sneak up the middle, but it's going to be brought down towards the end of that run.
And the special teams continues to be a bit of a problem here for Granger. You see the snapper's in his head a little bit. He snapped it too high the first time around, so he put it really low, and it was bouncing to the punter. The punter just had to get it off. Orem gets a nice return. Orem dominating the line of scrimmage and the special teams right now.
You know, a bit of an overcorrection. You know, they're, just like you said, snapped it too low after going too high. You're kind of seeing a mix of long snappers here tonight. Granger long snappers struggling a bit, but watch out next time the Orem long snapper comes out. That's going to be Stonebreaker on the right side. He's staying up, but he's finally going to be brought down. That's the right tackle. Had a couple of false starts called on him. That is Maimoa Havili.
And he was absolutely not fooled by the action there between the quarterback and the receiver. The quarterback had an option to just keep it and run up the middle, and the defender absolutely read his mind and went with the running back for a great tackle for loss.
You know, Max Stonebreaker there, a bit of a running back wide receiver hybrid, especially with Levi Moala out tonight. Tigers are waiting for word when he can return to play. The snap, Kava is going to get it out barely, and he's going to be brought down. That is number 0 in on the tackle. That is going to be Uli Figiel, the linebacker for the Lancers.
And that's probably the third play tonight that the right tackle for Orem is having trouble containing his man. That forced Kaava to be hurried up, to step up in the pocket, make a jump-off throw that was covered, and ultimately dropped for minimal gain.
And usually with a sophomore right tackle, you know, you don't think he'll have a team experience, but he started the entire year last year for this Orem Tiger team and has 6 Power 4 offers. You got to hope that he's going to be performing a little bit better than that, but obviously having a tough matchup here tonight. Kaava finds his man, but he drops it in and out of the hands.
And a little bit of some footwork issue there for Kaava. He was stepping up in the pocket. He was still moving as he threw. He was not able to set his feet, and so the throw was a little behind his receiver, who probably should have come down with the ball, but understandable why it was a little bit difficult for him as it falls to the ground incomplete. And we have an injured Granger Lancer on the field.
With that, we'll take a short break, and we'll be back soon here on Apollo Streams. We're back. We'd like to thank Cookin for sponsoring us this year here on the Apollo Streams. Injured Lancer on the play was number 45, one of their linebackers.
That brings up a 4th and 13 here for Orem. They'll have to punt it away for the second time tonight, I believe.
You see Isa Naliai back out there. Had a pretty good punt, running around 40 yards for the first punt of the night. The injured player was Daniel Tapuala for the Lancers. Good snap there. Punt is up. Whiffed it a little bit.
That one just goes straight up. Did not travel where they wanted.
It was picked up a little bit risky there by the Lancers.
So neither punter here tonight having a great time.
No, and the man who retrieved that punt, Bobo Kofe, one of the linebackers for the Lancers, he just picked it up and wanted to run. He doesn't get the ball in his hands a whole lot. He wanted to see as much action as he could.
So pretty good field position here for the Granger offense to just get into a rhythm, find some points, set up near midfield.
Best starting field position they've had all night. There's the snap. They're going to hand it off. That's Fafita on the left side. He's got room to run, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds. Sunia Fafita, the 6-foot junior, who last year had 190 carries and went 1,631 yards and 19 touchdowns for this Granger offense.
And Fafita there showing you his ability to just shove his man off him there as he rounded the corner. The offensive line did a decent job of allowing him to get to the corner where there was a few defenders there waiting for him, a few stiff arms, and he was able to make solid yardage.
Solid yard for sure. There's the snap to Griffin. Griffin rolls out to his right. That one's going to be in the hands and picked off. That's going to be picked off by number 21, Brock Hawkins, the Wasatch transfer.
And Orem was all over that from the beginning. They had the edge rusher from the left tackle that was supposed to block him coming out free as the quarterback was scrambling right. The right tackle was struggling to contain his man, and the defense was all over the throw. The rush to throws a little bit ahead of his receiver and into the hands of the defensive back.
And Brock Hawkins, in talking with Coach Reynolds before the game, Brock Hawkins was one name that he brought up. Didn't know who he was when he transferred here to Orem, but man, he found out quickly. Brock Hawkins, one of the best incoming transfers for the Tigers, as we're going to get some room to run up the middle, and he's still up and will finally be brought down. Max Stonebreaker, another transfer out of Maple Mountain. Good for a 7-yard gain. You know, at Maple Mountain, Stonebreaker wasn't used a whole lot in the running game. Did have 34 receptions on the year last year.
So just a second ago, Granger had a manageable second down. A few plays later, Orem here with the ball. Great field position where Granger was.
Handoff, that's going to be Beckham Curtis, who's a little bit slippery when wet, and he's up the middle on the opposite side of the 50.
And just some great shiftiness shown there as he was able to juke out his defenders. There was a Granger defender who had a chance at him but grabbed at his helmet, and in order to avoid a face mask, had to let go.
Beckham Curtis, a returner in the running back room for the Tigers. 25 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown last year. Saw him a lot in the passing game as well, he totaled 150 yards on that side of the ball as well. That's going to be an option play, pitched out to the outside. That's going to be Oliver Bills, hit hard and knocked out of bounds in there. Number 0, Uli Figuel, and number 4, Manisela Tauataina. Try saying that name 5 times fast.
And a pretty well-defended option play there by Granger. The running back got the edge a little bit, but there was enough defenders there to just contain him and shove him out of bounds.
11.9 seconds remaining here in quarter number 1. Game is moving along quickly for Lance Reynolds and the Orem Tigers. Reynolds is 4th year coaching. Kaava steps back, finds his tight end over the middle. That's Kai Wesley, who reaches for some extra yardage and will be brought down at the 34-yard line.
And just a great slant route on the interior, and the slot, by Kai Wesley. Found himself open. Kaawa able to find his man for a first down.
Now, Kai Wesley, we haven't mentioned his name a whole lot at the end of quarter number 1, and we'll tell you more about him when we return after the break here on Apollo Streams. And just like it said, ApolloStreams.com. This is your show. Streaming all of our games live this year through the Apollo Streams Capture app. You're viewing it on the Apollo Streams Network app. There is a difference between the two apps. You want to make sure you're downloading the Apollo Streams Network, where you can catch all of your favorite high school games this year.
And so Granger has switched up their defensive front. They're running more of a 4-2-4-3 formation now.
Got the man in the nickel. Dayton Kava escapes pressure. He's got room to run. That's a first down, and he slides, and almost a late hit there as Kava able to pop back up quickly.
And
Good enough for a first down.
And being honest, there should be a flag there on a late hit. Kaava was definitely down when the two hits came in on him. Granger able to get away with a little bit of a late shot on the quarterback.
You know, we were just talking before we went to break at the end of the first quarter. Kai Wesley, the tight end, committed to Baylor, staying local with the Big 12. But 6'7", 236 pounds of muscle is Kai Wesley.
So what you're telling me is he's already got the body of a college athlete.
Yes, he does. He's already got the body of a collegiate basketball player, you could say. Someone to man the middle, maybe run the 3 or the 4. Become a bruiser. We're going to get a timeout for Orem here. We'll stay here during this timeout. You know, Andrew, what's been some of your observations for the game so far tonight?
Well, so far, Orem is winning the battle up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I will say Granger's defensive line has had some victories, but overall, it feels like Orem is winning. And then Orem is just able to get things done on the ground in there. They've got a good mix here. Granger really struggling to get much of anything going offensively, and the special teams has probably, for me, been the biggest factor. Many special teams miscues for Granger. Only one slight miscue for Orem. They had a bad punt, but compare that with a bad snap on 2 punts for Granger that resulted in one, it being a safety, and number 2, they had just an awful, not an awful punt, but it was a poorly placed punt, allowing Orem to return very well. And then the punt on the kickoff after the safety only went 10 yards. Special teams has played a major factor here through 1 quarter and change.
And not to mention, you know, as on the safety after the kickoff, the kick went maybe 7-8 yards. Went straight up and came straight back down.
And out of bounds.
And out of bounds, that's true. We got the flag on the play there. We'll head back to the action, but special teams, definitely something to watch, has given Orem a big and dominant lead. The Granger defense hasn't been too bad, but their offense has been unable to move the ball, and that has brought out the special teams, and that's where the troubles have come for the Lancers. Back to action now. Kaava hands it off. That is Isa Naliai, and he's still on his feet to the 12-yard line.
And just 2 things here as there's a flag on the play. Number 1, the defensive line got straight through, and Ka'awa absolutely made the right decision to hand it off in a split-second moment, had no time, as they get a holding penalty, actually, that'll bring this back. But he did make the right decision. Just hand it off, let your running back do the work, as his running back was able to make some men miss and go down the sideline. Unfortunately, you've got a holding penalty that'll bring it back 10 yards.
And that's what Coach DeBoer and the Tuscaloosa, native Alabama Crimson Tide is seasoned this quarterback right here. Committed to them for, the next couple of years, obviously. Yet to sign, as that'll take place here soon. But Tayton Kava is going to be heading to Tuscaloosa, and you see right there with a split-second decision the quarterback out of Hawaii. Beckham Curtis, the running back, lined up on the side. They're going to dump it off to him. That's going to be a screen pass. Flag on the play. Curtis is still up. 5, touchdown Tigers! Awaiting the flag.
And we'll have to see what the flag is. It looks like it's in the section of holding. But again, Orem seems to have figured out when Granger is sending blitzes, and they did a beautifully run screen play pending a penalty. It looks like it's coming back as the coaches here on the Orem sideline are holding their heads in the Viper surrender.
Let's see what they end up calling. Could it be an illegal man downfield? Yep, illegal man downfield, taps the top of the head. That's going to be Beckham Moon and Noah Seufale, the two that were out there leading the blockers.
See if we can catch it on this replay here.
Take a look at the right side there. Right tackle, right guard.
You can see that Granger is selling on the blitz. And you had two men. It looked like it was 72 that was too far downfield for Orem. That'll bring up 1st and 21. There's a timeout by Granger, and we'll take it.
And I guess we're staying here, Andrew. We were talking a little bit about what we've seen so far tonight. What have been your thoughts on the Orem quarterback here, Tayton Kava?
Yeah, he's had a pretty effective first quarter and change. Had a couple decisions early that didn't quite make the right reads. Overthrew the ball, just early game jitters, but he's settled in nicely. He's making timely throws. He's making good decisions with not much we saw just a couple plays ago. He just needs to get his offensive units settled down and settled in to just play football, quit the dumb penalties, honestly. Illegal man downfield is a pretty easy one to avoid. A holding, you've just got to play more disciplined.
Especially for an Orem offense that has a combined 8 players with Power 4 offers. They got to be playing a little bit better than, I know it's the first game of the season, but you got to expect more out of this Tiger offense. Kava in the I formation. Going to be moving around, hit as he throws. That's going to be picked off. Interception number 1 of the year as he goes down. That is number 41. We've been saying his name all night. Mateni Puamau, this 5'10 senior for the Lancers.
And Ka'awa was just a little slow getting up. I'm a little nervous as he hobbles off the field here. And another injury on the field. It's a Granger Lancer down. He gets up. But we said at the beginning of the game, one of the keys of the game, I want Granger to be +2 in the turnover battle. They've just evened it up. As you remember, Granger threw an interception on their last possession that set up this one for Orem. The defense bailing the offense out by getting the ball back for them. It's time for that Granger offense to settle in, make some plays, and get some rhythm going.
As you see here on the sideline, obviously you can't see on the screen, but we can see up in the booth, quickly quarterback coach Bing Fano went over there to talk with Tayton Kawa as the Lancers are back underway, running up the middle themselves, and they're going to be brought down a gain of maybe 2 as the run from Sunia Fafita brings up 2nd and 8.
And I just want to give you a quick update. I said Kawa was a little slow getting up. He seems to be fine. He walked around on the sideline. He's back with the iPad to look at some film. He's all good to go.
With now offensive coordinator Mike Hickson looking at it. Fafita again runs over his man almost. Flag on the play, but a shoestring tackle made there by number 12.
And is that Fafita still down on the field?
That's not good if it is. Fafita, one of the bright spots, amassed over 1,600 yards on the ground last season.
A really talented player. You saw just on that play, he ran over some defenders, just showing you his power before he got hurt and came down after just a couple of yards. But that was not necessarily a well-blocked play, and he paid for it.
Yes, he did. The training staff is out on the field. Fafita has still not gotten up. Helmet is off, still laying down on the ground. We'll take a short break.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I stood proud and said, "A rain gunner and siding installer." Tim Brown Jr. here, fourth-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
I watched him walk back over. He's sitting on the bench right now. Helmet still off for Fafita. If you're the Lancers, you're throwing up as many prayers as you can get that he's okay and that he can get back on the field quickly. Owen Griffin now with a backup running back. Play clock ticking down to 12. Man in motion. The pitch play almost lost it, but he's got room to run on the right side. Who's going to be hit hard, though, out of bounds?
And he's a little shaken up on the play, limping back in.
Mateni Puamau, a little bit slow to get up.
And just the size difference here between Orem and Granger already making a difference, not only in who's winning physically, but in the injuries that is already starting to mount up for Grangers.
Puamau only 175 pounds, whereas the linebackers for for the Tigers coming in at 236, 200, 234 pounds. It's a lot of, and a big weight disadvantage. The snap. Owen Griffin, and he's going to be sacked again. Sack number 3 on the game for Junie Mawala.
And Junie Mawala is absolutely owning that matchup with the left tackle. Left tackle unable to protect the blind side of the quarterback all night long.
And if you're the Tigers here, this brings out the special team unit once again for the Lancers, and special teams coordinator Ryan Sudweeks for the Lancers has got to be very pleased with the way his special teams have performed tonight. Can't say the same if you're the special teams coordinator for the Lancers.
I'm very curious to see how the snap is here. Is the snapper able to just get a good snap to his punter as a man coming on late for Granger? There's some confusion between the...
Flag on the play, delay game's the call.
Granger unable to get 11 men on the field in time, and so they just took a delay of game.
And with, like we were saying, with bad snaps already tonight, you got to give yourselves as much yardage as you can, because now the punter is backed up. Good punt, able to get it off. Some contact made, but no penalty called. Beckham Curtis is going to take it to the right side. He stays up, a little bit shifty with it, and he's going to be brought down at the 48-yard line as the Tigers will start in their own territory.
And if I'm Granger's special team coordinator, I'm actually very pleased with that. It was a good snap. The punter was able to get off a good punt, and the coverage was pretty good. The tackles could have been better when they got to him, but they were ultimately able to corral him after 5-6 yards.
Yeah, you know, and whether you're watching on our Facebook page, on the KUTV YouTube channel, or with the Apollo Streams Network app, you know, you can go back after this game and watch these highlights. But Orem here looking for some more highlights on offense. That ball's tipped on the line. It's number 53 who tipped it for the Lancers.
And again, this defensive line for Granger is starting to get some wins. They are the ones that is keeping Granger within distance in this game. They're putting pressure on the quarterback. They caused a bad throw earlier that turned into an interception. They bat the ball down here.
Especially the Granger D-line has some good history. That one's thrown too high for Mac Ellison to come down with it. And again, it's 3rd and 10 for the Tigers.
And Ka'awa is walking just a little gingerly on one of his ankles. I'm starting to wonder if that earlier tackle where he came up a little slow is affecting his throws.
You know, with that throw power pushing on that left foot, you wonder how much pressure he's able to put on that as he looks for his receivers downfield. 3rd and 10, shotgun formation for the Tigers. Low snap, and looking for Max Stonebreaker. He was open but couldn't find him in time as the pocket collapsed very, very quickly as Tayo Fano, the younger brother of Spencer and Logan Fano on the Utah Utes, saw his man get right by him.
And so I'm actually very pleased with how Granger's defense has played today. They've actually had a very effective, efficient day. The only touchdown scored on them was off of that punt that went 6 yards, but after the safety that set up Orem at the 35-yard line. So other than that, they've actually played very effective defense, keeping Granger in this.
They weren't paying attention. There's a flag on the play of some sort. Not quite sure what's going to be happening here. Oh, that touched him! The Orem, if the flag is in favor of the Tigers, Orem will have possession of the ball.
And I'm wondering if there was a false start on the punt, because absolutely no one saw anything going there.
No, not at all.
Of course, they would have blown the play dead had it been a false start, but Orem seems to think this is coming back.
The refs, I think, are a little bit confused at what it is as well.
And the Orem coaches here on the sideline are not happy.
Legal shift, half the team started a little bit too early, so almost a false start of sorts. But just the way the play was set up just didn't work out in the favor of the Tigers.
I'm not sure even the punter knew that was coming. It just felt like no communication was going on there, the Orem punt unit.
Yeah, special teams, that's really the first mishap we've seen tonight. I mean, you've had a bad punt or two from the Tigers and Isa Naliai, but still you're seeing, positive things from the unit so far, and they're bringing people back. Not sure what's going on here. Timeout made. Granger declines the penalty.
So they're going to rule that Granger did not touch the ball, and they'll just get the ball where it was downed. And I'm not sure that's accurate. I thought it touched a Granger Lancer on the bounce.
I thought it did as well.
Nevertheless, the referee's opinion overrules ours.
It's a shame when that happens. The snap, handoff. Down, gain of 7. They're running back on the play. Number 44, Bobo Kofe.
And I believe it was actually Bobo Kofe who went down. Is also in, so regardless of which one it was, they're both healthy, both ready to go. Good news for Orem.
Not the tallest running back room. Fafita only at 6 foot. Kofe, not the tallest at 5'9", but the play's underway. Almost a one-handed grab as number 44, guarding number 44, as Easton Kojima gets in there on the...
And I love the play design there as the quarterback rolling out to his right. He had a receiver that was open, just overthrew him a little bit. As we look at a beautiful backdrop here for the new Tiger Field. I love this pine tree mountain backdrop they've got.
Here in the foothills of the Wasatch Mountains, you can't get much better views than this for high school football. The snap to Griffin. Hands off, going up the middle. That's going to be a first down by Sunia Fafita. Back in action after going down earlier with the injury. Good to see him back out there for the Lancer offense.
And Fafita he's probably the brightest spot thus far for Granger. He's had some solid carries, timely first downs for them. He's a little shifty. He can stiff arm, just been very effective so far.
You know, got to be very nice to be able to rely on that for the new quarterback, Owen Griffin. Griffin gets somehow, I don't know what to say. So much happened there, and I can't even say it.
And that play was broken in several different areas. We're going to get a horse collar, I think, here on Orem on that broken tackle from the quarterback. But he needed to just throw that away when he saw the defender coming at him. Good for him to break out of the tackle. He needed to throw it away then, but he tried to find his receiver, nearly intercepted. I think he's very lucky on several accounts and bailed out here by a penalty.
Penalty helps for sure. The receiver almost caught that as well.
But let's take a look at the view of this play from our field level. You'll see he rolls out. There's the defender. He needs to throw it away there. Doesn't, breaks out, and needs to throw it away there, but doesn't. Tries to find a receiver. Again, nearly intercepted, but a penalty nonetheless, and a Granger first down.
Well, that's going to be a snap right into the ground.
Looks like a snap infraction, some kind of pre-snap penalty, probably a false start.
That one may have been on everyone but the center.
And a good thing it's a false start, because that thing, like you said, went straight into the dirt.
I can tell you one thing the Lancers will be focusing on this next week as they prep to travel up to Logan, where they'll face the Bears up there, or the Grizzlies, excuse me. They're going to be focusing on snapping the ball and how to improve on that. Fafita up the middle, gets almost back to the 50. Will be down at the 49.
A good 3-yard gain. I would like a little bit more, but it gets you close to the original line of scrimmage. And again, probably as good as you can ask for, given what Fafita saw when he got the ball. Defender's already in the backfield, just able to shift his way up for 3.
And that's my bad. That wasn't Fafita. That was number 25 for the Lancers. Fafita wears number 24. We're going to get another false start. You hear the cheer from the crowd. Cheerleaders are doing multiple backflips.
And number 25 in there, Legend Tau Longo, a senior running back, 5'10", 205 pounds. A great first name.
Yes, it is.
Shador Sanders said, "Be legendary," and Legend said, "It's in my name."
Hey, there you go. You also see Legend Glasker with Lehigh. He's a receiver, the cousin of Isaiah Glasker.
BYU linebacker.
Yep. Legend Glasker committed to play at BYU. Griffin rolls out to his right, finds his man. Oh, ball comes out. Are they going to say incomplete? He didn't have possession of it. They're going to say incomplete. And man, are the Lancers lucky.
A good call from the referees there. Unable to make a football move. He did not quite fully possess it and just got rocked. A great defensive play there from Orem on all counts, whether it would have been a fumble or not. Setting up a 3rd and eternity.
Eons, Andrew. 3rd and eons.
3rd and 17 to be exact.
Yep. Practically eons here if you're the Granger offense. Been struggling to move the ball all night. 6:32 in the 3rd. Pass is caught. Only brought back to the 50. In there on the tackle for the Tigers is number 21, Brock Hawkins, who had the interception earlier.
That'll bring up a 4th down. And the reason we call it 3rd and eons is if your coordinator can dial up a play that gets you out of that, he deserves a contract that keeps him there for eons.
Yes, the coordinators for this Lancer team, you got Kuipo Rusinga and Michael Ward as they're brought down. Not going to happen, and that's just falling apart.
A turnover on downs. Going for it on 4th and 11. I understand going for it on 4th down near midfield, but 4th and 11 when you're only down 9-0 in the 2nd quarter. This is setting up Orem to just go into halftime with all the momentum and firm control in the ball game.
I just don't think the Granger coaching staff trusts their special teams right now to get the ball on the opposite side of the field. I think they're going to take a chance that their quarterback is able to convert that on 4th and 11. Not quite eons, but close enough. And they're going to say, we'll take our chances, and those chances did not turn to the Lancers.
And so I don't think the thought process really accounted for taking a sack. Your defense is playing well. You trust them on a 49-yard field. Do you trust them at 41?
We'll see. Curtis gets around the outside. That's going to be a first down for the Tigers. Curtis having a good game so far tonight.
And that was the play that, one of the few plays recently that Granger's defensive line just didn't look ready for. The offensive line was at a good push, and the running back was able to get outside and find space for a first down.
You're seeing a running back by committee approach from the Tigers tonight. That is one of their committee running backs, Max Stonebreaker, the Maple Mountain transfer. He's got room on the outside. He's going to step out of bounds before getting tackled for another.
And I like the adjustment in the play calling from Orem's offensive coordinator. The last few drives, you've been throwing it a lot. Your quarterback is clearly not right at this moment. And so you're going, hey, I've got a bigger offensive line. We've got a push up front. Let's just run the ball downfield, something that Granger has not stopped well tonight. They've been able to defend the pass very well, but the running game tearing them up right now.
Mike Hickson, the offensive coordinator for the Tigers, has game planned very well for this game, as the Tigers have got to be happy with how things have come on the offensive side of things, up 9-0 with 5:42 in the second. Kava, low. Incomplete. Intended receiver was the running back, Beckham Curtis.
And I'm going to put that one on the receiver. Ka'awa saw his man. He put it right in the numbers. It's a little low, but it should have been, because that was the place that it was only going to his receiver. You fall down, you get a good 5-yard gain, but unable to corral it is the receiver.
The snap to Kava. Able to get around his man. Pitches to the outside. Almost dropped, but that's going to be Beckham Curtis still on his feet. Brought down at the 14. It almost turned something scary into something I don't even know, but it worked out for the Tigers.
And so there we see what Alabama sees in the 3-star quarterback. He takes the snap. Immediately 2 defenders in his face. It's a designed pitch option. And so he's supposed to roll right for the pitch, but the guys are in his face, tucks it, makes a man miss, sees that his running back is still there, makes a good pitch for some solid yards.
Take a break with a timeout. We'll be right back after this here on Apollo Streams.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I stood proud and said, a rain gunner and siding installer. Tim Brown Jr. here, 4th-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
But the guys at RGS Exteriors and Construction, like they just said, it's what they've wanted to do since grade school. Andrew, for you, what's been your dream job since grade school?
I mean, in grade school, every kid in America seems like he wants to play in the NFL. I figured out that was not happening pretty quickly, given my size and athletic ability. So I figured the next best thing was to be a sports broadcaster and get to be paid to watch and talk about sports.
Hey, that sounds like that's right up your alley, Andrew Peterson. Pretty good at it. I've very much enjoyed having him as my color commentator here tonight. The snap to Ka'awa is going to be handed off, and that's going to be on the right side. Max Stonebreaker hit hard. He's going to be pushed out of bounds at the 12-yard line.
And so that'll set up a 4th and short. I'm interested to see if they think they can get a push up front, go for it, and get a first down, or if they're just going to take the points here.
Both teams have got 2 timeouts left. Looks like they're going to be staying on the field.
The offensive coordinator taking his time with Ka'awa. We wonder if they're just going to take this down and take a timeout as the play clock rolls under 10.
So they hustle to the line of scrimmage. We'll see if they can get it off. 3, 2, 1. They get it off. Low snap, though. Oh, Curtis able to stay on his feet. Makes a man miss. Touchdown, Tigers!
And just a great play design there from Orem. Ka'awa, give credit to him, able to get the play clock, get the play call, deliver it to his team, get them in formation, snap it on time, finds his open man. He put it in the perfect spot as the running back is turning the corner, stumbles, but able to keep his feet, make a few men miss, and into the end zone for the first passing touchdown of the season for Orem.
Great job there by the Tiger teammates. That was Taden Ka'awa to Beckham Curtis. That kick is up and through, 16-0, as the Tigers have jumped out in front some more.
Arrive in style in a great fitting suit from Mr. Mac. We feature quality designer brands like Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, and Talia, with styles to suit every man and every occasion. We ensure a perfect fit, offering fast, free alterations by expert tailors at all 9 Mr. Mac stores. Arrive in style with Mr. Mac, serving Utah for over 50 years.
And we're back. That's Mr. Mac. We'd like to thank Mr. Mac for helping us out this year. Mr. Mac, one of our sponsors last year. Glad to see they're returning. We've appreciated working with them throughout their 9 locations throughout the state of Utah. I know I got my mission suit from Mr. Mac. Talking with you, Andrew, I'm pretty sure you did as well.
I did. It's still good 4 years later. You've heard of Big Macs. Now go to Mr. Mac. It still fits a few Big Macs later for me.
Matt Christensen, the owner and founder of Mr. Mac, not to be confused with Mac Christiansen, one of the receivers for the Tigers. That one, don't think it hit him to be knocked out. That's going to be a touchback nonetheless once the ball passes the goal line in high school football. That is a touchback. And so some special teams positive news for the Tigers. We'll see if Owen Griffin, the transfer quarterback out of Notre Dame Preparatory Academy in Scottsdale, Arizona, just off of Shea Boulevard and the 101. Place that Andrew and I know very well. Both of us served our missions in Arizona. Served the latter end of my mission in Scottsdale, so I know the area a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Getting off the 101, that was an adventure.
Yes, it was. Gotta love the 101, especially in Scottsdale. Griffin will see if he can get off the 101 here, and he's going to throw to absolutely nobody.
And a good decision there from Griffin. I like the decision. You roll out right. It seems like the receivers didn't quite understand the play call, or maybe there was a mix-up because the receivers did not roll out with him. Seeing nobody's there, he doesn't try to force it in any windows, just throws it away. 2nd and 10, much better than 1st and 10 for the Orem Tigers, or 2nd and 15 after a sack.
No, that's like we were talking about, getting off the 101. That's like the car's trying to merge, and you just say, you know what, I'm just going to let you merge in front of me. No harm, no foul. I'm not going to try and speed up, make a mistake, and he makes the right move right there. Low snap to Griffin.
And a flag on the play.
You see a helmet off.
That's going to go against Granger. You cannot keep playing when your helmet comes off.
Famously, you think back to when BYU offensive lineman Dallas Reynolds kept playing in the bowl game when his helmet came off, laid an insane hit as a blocker. Same Dallas Reynolds, offensive line coach for Orem High School here tonight.
I believe they changed the rule shortly after.
Yes, I believe that was what made the rule.
It takes a certain insanity to keep playing the game of football when your helmet is not on. Everyone else's helmets are. I'm just sitting that one out personally.
Yeah, me too. Dallas Reynolds, going to be the one who brought about that penalty, and, he's seen it here in action tonight. But penalty was waved off, so we'll keep playing. 3rd and 6, 4:54 remaining on the game clock here in the first half. The pitch play, that's going to be Fita on the outside. He's got room. If he can stay on the sideline, going to be pushed out of bounds finally by number 1, Isa Naliai.
And give credit there to the receiver on the outside. He was able to maintain his block, allowing the running back Fafita to just bounce outside where there was plenty of space. The block was just good enough for Fafita to get by, gain a first down. And if you're Orem, you're wondering if you should have accepted the penalty and taken a 2nd and 11 instead of a 3rd and 6.
You know, it's Isa Naliai, had a touchdown-saving tackle right there as he knocked him out of bounds. The Timpview transfer. Orem lost to Timpview twice last year, if I'm not mistaken. So he's coming back on this side. That's going to be a handoff up the middle to Boba Kofe.
And how impressive is Isa Naliai? He doesn't just play football. He's also playing basketball, a point guard. Last year he played on both sides of the ball and played basketball. So he played receiver, defensive back or safety, and point guard. This year he's playing safety. We've seen him at punter. He seems to be everywhere.
He'll be playing some running back this year. Owen Griffin, the other number 1, can't get around. I'll give you one guess who it is with the sack. That is Judy Moala.
And that is the 4th sack of the night for Moala. He has been a problem. The left tackle for Granger cannot win that battle. Moala is absolutely owning the line of scrimmage right now at that left tackle spot. He is winning the matchup down.
Young University Cougars, they're going to be very happy when Judy Moala comes to them in a couple of years. He's committed to them already. Going to be offsides, neutral zone infraction. Call it what you want.
Well,
that's going to be
like
extra 5 yards.
There might have been a false start on one of the tackles that caused Orem to jump off sides. But they will call it on Orem. So excuse me, it would have been the other way around. The jump off sides caused a false start. It'll go against Orem.
It's one of the new rule changes this year in the college football sector is you can't make any pre-snap movements that are jarring that would cause them to move offside. If you do, that's going to be called as a penalty. Not sure what the official ruling here is in high school. Handed off to Fafita. He's going to push through first down for the Lancers.
And that was a big offside penalty because you had him in 3rd and long after a sack. I believe it's 3rd and 8. But a 3rd and 3 allows you to hand off to Fafita, who's been effective all day long, and a good first down there for Granger.
I should have looked it up before the game. Couldn't find out if Fafita was related to Arizona quarterback Noah Fafita, or if there was any relation to Kalani Fafita Sataki, BYU head coach. He's going to be down on the ground. They're going to say he did catch it, which will bring up 2nd and about 4 with 2:45 remaining.
And I love the effort of the receiver, Tua Ta'ina, who the throw was a little bit behind him on a comeback route, but he was open enough. He'd created enough separation that he was able to come back and get it falling down. Great effort and a great play.
Rolling out to his left is Griffin. A big hit to knock the ball loose. Brock Hawkins.
And he is slow to get up, understandably. And the quarterback just did not see the defender coming behind his receiver. A little bit of a hospital pass as Pua Ma'u shaken up on the play, and understandably so. He absolutely got rocked in the midsection there. Probably knocked the wind out of him as he's slowly walking off the field. Good to see him up and walking. I think that's just one of those knocked the wind out of you, just gasping for breath.
There's that replay that you just saw. Definitely hit hard. We're going to get that injury timeout. 2:23 remaining. It's 4th down. Or excuse me, 3rd down, 4 yards to go. My bad.
And that's just one of those, when it happens to you, it's one of the scariest things, getting the wind knocked out of you, because you just can't breathe. And you have to try for a few seconds before you can get air back into your lungs. It's a scary thing if you've never had it happen. Turns out it's not a big deal once you get going again, but it is scary personally if it hasn't happened to you before.
Yeah, I remember the first time it happened to me. I was playing kickball with my extended family. We were out in Murray, Utah, playing with slip and slides and tiny pools for the bases. And I got a ball right to the gut, knocked the wind out of me. I thought I was dying. I was a little, like 5-year-old at the time. Didn't quite know what was going on. Obviously, wind got knocked out of me. I was back playing fine 5 minutes later. But that first time it happens to you, one of the scariest things.
And so a short third down setup here. I expect another handoff to Fafita. He's converted already 2 on this drive. Short 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 type situations.
And that's going to be a false start. And they're going to be walking backwards immediately, throwing his hands to the air as number 4. Manisela Taua Ta'aina.
And that is the exact side where they got the offside earlier. So that right tackle and that edge rusher going back and forth here on penalties, setting up a 3rd and long. Not a situation that Granger has been comfortable in so far in the ballgame.
Not at all. See if they'll still try to hand it off to Fafita. They won't. They'll use him as a blocking back. And that's going to be back to Taua Ta'aina.
And that'll set up a 4th and short. And here is where I want to see them going for it on 4th down. Not a 4th and long, but you've got 4th and 2, a great running back in Fafita. Of course, Orem is going to stack the box here.
Stacking it for sure. Orem's got a ton of big-name players on their defensive line. We've talked about it already tonight. Mawala, Nelson, Lavaki, and Gardner. They're going to hand it off the middle, and he's going to break through. That's going to be a 1st down and a bit more for Sunia Fafita.
And again, it's like I said, that is the exact situation you go for it. Your running back, Fafita, has been very effective in short yardage situations and effective once again breaking through that initial push of Orem and finding some extra yards. And I believe this is the furthest down the field that the Granger's offense has made it. They're at the 35 of Orem. I think this is the first time tonight they have been this close to the end zone.
Something to note, I was looking up some stats for Granger before the game, looking at how they performed last year. They were a pretty great team, went 6-6 last year. Made it, in the second round of the playoff before they ran into Roy and got steamrolled by them, 45-27. But we'll finish the story right after this as Griffin's going to take it up the middle. It's going to be tackled. In there on the tackle is number 44, Easton Kojima, who had the running touchdown earlier in the game. But Granger is, they're looking like they're going to be pretty all right this year.
And the quarterback's starting to make some smart decisions. Doesn't find anyone open, sees some open space, gets some yards, get into a 2nd and manageable. If you can score here, I feel pretty good, being all things considered, going in 16-7 instead of 16-0.
There's the pass. That one's going to be broken up. And broken up by Dylan Dye. Who doubles as the walk-on, who doubles as a preferred walk-on. Hopefully going to Boise State next year as a long snapper.
And the ball was just a little bit behind the intended receiver, but I still think the receiver should have pulled that in. He had enough time to react. He did react. It just went through his arms. Didn't quite see the ball there. I think that should have probably have been a catch.
A little bit slow there was Tanner Fleischl, the junior. The snap. Griffin steps back, looking deep. Thinks he has his man. Cut! Oh, did he bobble it as he came out, though? They're going to say it was a catch. He did lose control a bit as he came out, but catch, big 1st down.
And that is the biggest play of the night for Granger. You finally see them just uncork a downfield ball. The receiver did a good job. He realized he was running out of space, slowed his route a little bit, and then accelerated at the end as the ball got there, throwing off the DB. Great move by the receiver.
And that's the biggest play from yardage-wise that you've seen so far tonight from the Lancers. Pitch play. Fafita going to be swallowed at the line. And I won't even make you guess who it is. It's number 91, Junie Mawala, in there again.
And the clock rolls under a minute here. I think they're going to take it down a bit. But I don't necessarily like that play call. Fafita has been great running through the tackles tonight. If you're going to run him this close to the goal line, keep doing that short yardage situation that you've been doing through the tackles where he's had success. They try to get him to the edge, or reads it all the way and nowhere to go.
We've got a goal-to-go situation here. Griffin looking for his first touchdown pass. Looks back to number 2, and he can't quite find him. Looking for Isi Ata.
And that was a similar route, obviously a much more shallow route than as the one that got them that 30-yard pass from the 35 down to the 5. But just a little bit overthrown. I like the connection those two have. They seem to have something there. Look for that in the second half as we near the end of the first here.
It's kind of that goal line fade a little bit there. Obviously a little bit further back from the goal line, but tried to fade it just over the corner. That's Brock Hawkins. But clock at 29.9, just a tick under 30 seconds left to go. Third down. Griffin looking to his right. Pass is low and is going to be dropped. Not sure if it was on purpose or not, but a smart drop.
And they're going to take a timeout here, decide if they want to go for it on fourth down. I will say this. If Granger is able to get a touchdown here on fourth down, go into half down 16-7, and if they're able to get that +2 in the turnover margin, we're tied right now 1-1. If they're able to get that +2 in the second half, I like their chances of coming back and competing in this game. The same thing if it's a field goal, but I like it a little bit less.
Yeah, the field goal unit was a struggle last year for the Lancers. Not many field goals even attempted. And so you see here, you've seen some special team struggles for the Lancers already tonight. And I think you got to go for it on fourth down. I would actually be very surprised if I see any sort of special teams unit come out for the Lancers.
And I think it just comes back to the long snapper struggles early on. He's just a little bit in his head. That first one went over the head of the punter, if you remember early on. That was the first point of the game that made it 2-0 for Orem. And the next one, he's thinking, okay, don't go high, and he just snapped it into the dirt. Luckily, it made it back to the punter, but he's just in his head a little bit. The third one, it made it to the punter. It was good. It was just a little bit slow, wobbly. So you're just, and you see Granger running the offense back out, probably for that exact reason. Like you said, they don't trust the special teams right now.
No, not at all. You see Owen Griffin lined up shotgun formation. Fafita to his right. Griffin rolls out, looking to find his man in the corner. That's going to be knocked away, but there is a flag on the play.
It's going to be a pass interference on the defense in the end zone. A massive break there, but I think if you don't just get a little handsy, that throw was on the money. It just went over the defender that jumped in front to intercept it, and it was in a position where only his man could get it, but the DB trailing was a little bit too handsy there.
Say holding on the defense. Looked like it was on Will Rasmussen there, but like you were talking about, pretty much a smart move there. Prevent the touchdown. You've been able to stop them so far as you hear the Orem ambush, the student section.
So it is now first and goal with just under 20 seconds.
The pitch outside to Fafita. Fafita's got room on the right side. Touchdown, Lancers.
And just like that, with 14.2 seconds left in the first half, Granger goes into halftime feeling really good, considering the position they were in, down 16-0. If you can force a couple turnovers, if you can string a couple drives like that together, because they drove the whole field there, you feel good about getting back into this game and being very competitive in the second half.
You know, I'm shocked here that we're seeing Uli Figiel after attempt unit. You know, being down 10 here, I would think that you would have to be brought back. That one very low, did run into the kicker, but they're going to say it was blocked. And that looked like no other than Isa Naliai in there on the block. 14.2 seconds left. We'll see if Orem wants to do anything here, but it looks like the kicker is down. That is number 0, Uli Figiel. Seems to pop back up and is going to walk off the field under his own power.
Kicker James Weigel injured on the play.
And like you said, I'm not convinced they shouldn't have trotted out a 2-point conversion there. If you convert and you've been excellent in short yardage situations tonight, you're down by 8 instead of 10. Whereas if you just kick the extra point, even if it goes in, you're still down by 2 scores. You're down by 9. You had a great opportunity there to just pull it within 1 score. And with the special teams being suspect, the snap was good there, but it looked like the kicker did not trust that the snap would be good, and it was a little slow getting to the ball.
Now, hold on here. It's something you can't see a huddle from the kickoff team. You see our camera move back over there. Wonder if they're going to try something tricky here. Or it could just be that it's a new kicker. And I think it is that it's a new kicker, but yeah, they messed up there.
That was definitely a false start by most of the kickoff team.
Yeah. See, the Mario Kart World just came out in the Nintendo Switch 2. It's almost like you're holding 2 or A or whatever the button is a little bit too early. You spin out there at the start of the race and you spun out there.
And so if I'm Granger here, I honestly would just squib kick it like you did at the beginning of the game. Squib it. That way it maybe hits someone, you get the ball. But it forces them to field it. They're in an unnatural position, and the clock starts rolling, and hopefully you get to run a bunch of time off this clock here before halftime.
You know, it's Beckham Curtis in the backfield alongside with Isa Naliai. Booming kick. Where has that been all night for the Lancers? Goes through the end zone and through the long jump section of the track.
And I did not expect a kicker in high school football to have that kind of leg after a penalty to be able to boom it through the end zone.
And especially almost looks like a toe kick. I'm not a soccer guy, so I don't know the terminology.
So that was one where you just hit it with all you had with the laces of your cleat, get as much power as you can. You're not trying to pop it up into the sky. You're just line driving it with your laces to get it to go as far as you can.
Yeah, as we get to halftime coming up, if you want to stick around, please feel free to. We've also got other games that we're streaming live here on KUTV's YouTube channel here tonight as they're going to kneel it down and end the half. We've got Corner Canyon and Bingham, and we've got a couple of other games as well. I believe it's Sky Ridge taking on Maple Mountain, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it might be Mountain Ridge.
Mountain Ridge, thank you. This is why we have Andrew here, but with that, that's the end of the first half, 16-6. We'll take a short break and be back to talk about our thoughts on the first half right after this.
Arrive in style in a great fitting suit from Mr. Mac. We feature quality designer brands like Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, and Talia, with styles to suit every man and every occasion. We ensure a perfect fit, offering fast, free alterations by expert tailors at all 9 Mr. Mac stores. Arrive in style with Mr. Mac, serving Utah for over 50 years.
Martinez is going to take it himself.
He fumbles and PG recovers. They have the ball at the 15-yard line.
Zerine, a great catch over the shoulder. He's going to go all the way. Down to the 10, the 5, touchdown. Goes left, receiver. Zerine, a great catch over the shoulder. He's going to go all the way. Down to the 10, the 5, touchdown.
Touchdown. Great handoff to number 0. Touchdown. Great handoff to number 0.
Oh my God!
Back to pass on 3rd and 4. There's a blitz coming on. He got it away, but he was picked up. Another fumble. Woo! Back to pass on 3rd and 4. There's a blitz coming on. He got it away, but he was picked up. Another fumble. Woo!
A lot of pressure. They run a screen pass to Christian. Scott blockers out in front. Christian gets upfield to the 30, to the 25, down to the 20. He's still going, down the 15, still down the 5. Touchdown, Christian! A lot of pressure. They run a screen pass to Christian. Scott blockers out in front. Christian gets upfield to the 30, to the 25, down to the 20. He's still going, down the 15, still down the 5. Touchdown, Christian!
Dropping back to pass. I apologize. They got him open deep. Is he going to get it? Oh, he does snag it out of the air. What an incredible catch. They got him open deep. Is he going to get it? Oh, he does snag it out of the air.
There it is, one of our top 10s from a couple years ago. Each week, we'll be putting out a new top 10. So make sure to stay tuned. Follow our social media pages at Apollo Streams on Facebook and Instagram. We're putting out reels already. Big shout out to the Oaks family who's been helping us with our social media pages.
And a shout out to our camera crew right now, Apollo Oaks, who Apollo Streams is actually named after, manning the main camera, and then Glenn Garrett down on the field getting us some good angles as we take a look at the replay of that Granger touchdown that happened with just 15 seconds to go in the first half.
We almost went with the point after attempt there, but see back here, you're going to see him roll out to the right. Just kind of that pitch play on the right side.
And just a great job by the offensive line. You saw one of them break out and just set the edge perfectly. There was absolutely no chance for the defense. A perfectly well-designed play by not only the offensive coordinator, but the offensive line coordinator had his men in position with a great play call, great blocking, making the running back's job very easy to just roll into the side of the end zone.
You know, as we're here, I'm going to stand up. You can't see me since I'm sitting on this chair. But it's been a pretty exciting first half football. One of the things you talked about at the very beginning is on paper, Orem is a much better team than Granger. But, like you said, that we don't play paper football.
Paper football is not a sanctioned sport by the UHSAA. And so here we are. We've got a pretty good ball game. Orem, you could say, is in control, but they've just been playing a little bit sloppy offensively. There's just a bit of a disconnect, a few penalties here and there, but the passing game just hasn't been where it needs to be. Ka'awa struggling a little bit. You wonder if maybe he injured an ankle on one of the hits he took and throwing off his throws a little bit. But there's just a little disconnect that is just throwing off the drives when Orem gets some momentum created by the defense.
Yeah, we don't have the camera on the field right now, but there's like a cheerleader out here chucking the football. Man, she's got an arm. Take a look at that. Anyways, back to what we were talking about with not Kawhi Akana, excuse me, Taden Ka'awa. Yeah, he hasn't been too, not something I'd expect out of someone who's committed to Alabama.
So he is a 3-star quarterback, so he's a little bit raw as an athlete. There's just a lot of potential. And the potential that we're seeing is he's actually made some really good decisions in split-second moments. There's been some tight moments where the defensive line is crashing in. He's got a split second to decide, do I keep the ball? Do I hand it off? He's made the right decision on most of the plays. And so that's where the potential is, and he's seeing the field well. He's just missing on a few throws. So if he can just tighten things up a little bit, he's going to have a really good second half.
Yeah, I like what you're saying there about the potential, because one of my favorite plays, there was a holding penalty that called it back, but it was the one where he almost got lit up. It was an RPO, went to go look for his receiver, but saw his defensive lineman coming in quickly handed it off to Beckham Curtis, who was able to get around for a couple of yards. Ultimately, was called back because of the holding, but very, very quick decision there from Ka'awa.
And on the Granger side of things, if I'm the head coach, I am very pleased with how the defense is playing. The defense has kept Granger in this ball game. The special teams has really struggled, as we've documented throughout the game. But the defense has not allowed points unless they are put in a very bad position. The 2 touchdowns for Orem was a 35-yard drive and a 41-yard drive. Both times Orem was set up in plus territory, not much field to defend for Granger, and Orem was able to drive down and score touchdowns. But when given a full field to defend, Granger's defense, and the defensive line specifically, has been very stout and difficult to deal with on the pass rush, causing Ka'awa to throw quicker than he wants.
Especially I was talking with Coach Reynolds, he mentioned that he wants this offense to be able to match up better one-on-one with this Granger defense. Granger, just from the stats I was able to find from before the game, listen to the amount of sacks from the defensive line. Ifo had 9 last year. Ma'imoa Havili had 6 last year. Radley Martin, 2 last year. And then La Kini, a name we haven't mentioned much tonight, 16 sacks.
And so you see there's a bit of a disparity here between the two teams on paper, like you said. And if I'm Granger, I'm very happy with how the defense is keeping you in a game against a team which on paper should be favored by quite a bit tonight. And so defensively, honestly, for Orem, they're playing very well. Moala has been winning that matchup with the right tackle in the backfield all night long. And so we're seeing a bit of a defensive battle right now between the two teams.
Yeah, I was talking with one of my good buddies who covers high school football. He's a senior at Alta right now. His name's Luke Avey. He just created a new Instagram page, and if I could remember what it was, I'd shout it out. I'll have to go and find it for Luke. But some great coverage of high school football if you're looking at it and want to see it from the eyes of a high school student. But he was talking with me before the game. He said this is going to be a very fun game for us to cover tonight, and we've definitely seen that. Orem is one of his predictions to be the to be one of the top 2 teams in 5A, and you're seeing that with a lot of other outlets as well. You're seeing Slinging the Pill on Twitter, who has Orem at number, KSL Sports, who has Orem as the number 2 team in the state. You're seeing the Deseret News, who also has Orem as a top 5 team, and it's just, you're not seeing a lot of, I don't know how I'd put it, but like it is, maybe it's the first game of the season and they don't want to show everything before their game against Lone Peak next week.
That game against Lone Peak will be absolutely massive. And to your point regarding these rankings, these are all divisions combined. Orem is a 5A team. That combines the 6A, the 4A. And so what all these outlets are saying is Orem should be winning a state title this year, or they should be in the state title game this year. And what we're seeing tonight so far is there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of plays where if they just put a few things together, they could be very explosive. But it's just, like you said, it's the first half of the season. It's the first half of the first game of the season. They're just figuring a few things out. This is the first time this year that these guys are getting hit in real game time. This is no longer practice fall camp, so you're just working out the kinks here tonight.
And I think this is a great game for Orem to be able to work out the kinks. Granger not ranked in any of the publications I was able to find. And so obviously, I mean, we're going to go back to it. It is playing paper football. But if you're Orem, this is a great way to look at the season. And then after today, once you are back in school on Monday, once you're back looking at practice footage, you can sit down and Coach Reynolds can say, okay, look, I really like this play. This play, we performed it well. I want to see more of this. But then you take a look at, some of the false starts, some of the offsides, some of the times that the offense just hasn't been able to move the ball. You say, okay, boys, we gotta tighten up here.
And some of the things that I do like for Orem offensively is when they've gotten their running backs on the outside, they've been able to get good chunk yardage, about 10 to 15 yards. A couple times on their latest touchdown drive, they just decided, hey, we're gonna get the running back on the outside. And even that touchdown pass, it was a very short out route, about a 1 yard out that the running back ran, and he was able to get outside away from the tackles and turn it upfield for a touchdown. And so that's what we're seeing here right now is that second half, here's what I want to see. And it's going to go back to the first keys of the game. Orem, I want you to start controlling the line of scrimmage. Early on, it looks like you were. Later in the half, Granger was able to recover defensively on that line. And a little bit offensively on that long touchdown drive at the end of the half. And so Granger's starting to pull even there. Okay, so Orem, I want you to control the line of scrimmage. I want you to run the ball, control the clock. If I'm Granger, I want that defense to create more turnovers. I want them to be +2 in turnover margin. And with those two possessions, you can get 2 scores and even up this ball game.
Yeah, I love the way you were breaking that down. If you're the Granger head coach, they obviously just came out from the locker room. What's the message for the Lancers in the locker room tonight?
Well, you gained a little bit of momentum towards the end of the first half there. You went on an 80-yard drive to score that touchdown, and part of that was a 30-yard pass and catch. And so there hasn't been very many shots downfield from either side, but when Granger threw that downfield pass, one of the few tonight, they connected on a big play. And so I want the offensive line to hold back that defensive line, give your quarterback a little bit of time for some plays to develop because he's a little bit rushed right now. When they did that, he was able to find his man for 30 yards. And I want to see more of those short yardage situations, short second downs, short third downs where you hand the ball off to Fafita, who's been excellent in third and short, second and short yardage situations.
Fafita's been one of the best players that's been on the field so far tonight. I haven't seen many times where he's just been stopped and knocked out other than the one time he was injured. But even then, it seems like the Lancers were able to keep their running game moving a little bit. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Granger. And we'll take a short break right now before we go to Orem's side of the things, breaking down what we think Lance Reynolds might be talking about in the locker room. But we'll take a short break and be back after a couple of these short messages.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I stood proud and said, a rain gunner and siding installer. Tim Brown Jr. here, 4th-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
And we're back now as we'll take a look at one more commercial break as me and Andrew kind of talk about what we think Reynolds is saying in the locker room.
Arrive in style in a great fitting suit from Mr. Mac. We feature quality designer brands like Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, and Talia, with styles to suit every man and every occasion. We ensure a perfect fit, offering fast, free alterations by expert tailors at all 9 Mr. Mac stores. Arrive in style with Mr. Mac, serving Utah for over 50 years.
As the Orem ambush student section get very loud here as the team has come back out. We're currently sitting at 40 seconds left, so very quickly, Andrew, what's the message from Reynolds to these boys in the locker room tonight?
So what I've seen a little bit is they've been penalized on some big plays. They actually had a touchdown called back on a screen pass because they had an ineligible lineman downfield. And there's just been a couple of plays like that where they've actually had some good success, but there's a hold or there's a little penalty like that has just called back the play. And so they could be up by 2 or 3 scores. They are up by 2 scores. They could be up by 3 if they just limit the penalties on offense, and mainly that offensive line. They've got talent there, but it's just a little bit iffy right now on the execution as a unit. Individually, they're all very talented players. I want them to start playing as a unit, start dominating that offensive line, but I want them to start playing some clean football. That way these big plays will stand and they'll be able to develop for this Orem Tiger offense.
We're getting ready back here, and the offense, I think, has definitely been, something where you're questioning a bit about why aren't you seeing, more positive things. But something that I've been a little bit shocked about is, the linebackers. I haven't seen a lot from the linebackers on the Orem defense. You've got Dylan Dye, you've got Zeki Vaya, and you've got Ethan Kojima, who you've seen a little bit from the transfer from Maple Mountain, but it just seems like the 3 linebackers they run with, you're not seeing a whole lot. Most of the stops are coming from the D-line or the safeties, and a couple times with the corners, but that'll be something to look out for, see if the linebacker unit can get more involved here in the second half. But we're getting ready to kick off, and we are back and underway here in Orem, Utah. Squib kick, fielded cleanly. Down to the 20, he's got room on the left side if he wants it. He cuts back, and he's still on his feet, but will finally be brought down by number 25 for the Tigers.
And a little bit of things going on after the play. Some Orem players getting mad at each other for getting involved. I like that from your teammate. Pull him out of the scuffle. Tell him to back off and get back to the sideline. We can't afford penalties here in the second half.
And I think you see a lot more of that towards the beginning of the season. They've been hitting each other all season long, all fall camp long. And so the relationship with the teammates, they're great, but you're also very fired up, and you want to see each other perform the best that you can.
And the referees are having a little bit of a discussion on if there is a penalty there after the play.
We'll wait the call from Paul Johnson.
And so it's actually going to go against Granger, and I attribute it to that teammate of Orem pulling his guy out of the scuffle where he retaliated.
Yeah, a very, very costly penalty for the Lancers, and are going to be having pretty tough field position again. Something they've become accustomed to all night as we look at how Owen Griffin has performed so far this game.
So instead of starting at the 23-yard line, it looks like they'll be at the 13.
Owen Griffin, we talked about him earlier, the transfer quarterback from Notre Dame Preparatory Academy just off of Shea Boulevard in the 101 in Scottsdale, Arizona. Didn't start last year at Notre Dame Prep. Came out here, moved a family out to Utah, and has been a little bit underwhelming so far in his first start. He's going to get that pass out to the left side, though, and he's going to be staying on his feet. Looks like it was possibly Fafita.
And I like getting your running back out in space. Fafita, who's been shifty, who's been very effective in short yard situations. Get him out in space. Let him use his speed, his shiftiness to make a few men miss. Get you, again, a second and short where Fafita actually has been shining tonight.
Fafita has been doing great. So has Pauma'u, the actual receiver on that, which, again, is my bad. We've got a glare coming off the window, but that's no excuse. We got to be better, and that's on me. Andrew's been doing great commentating on everything so far tonight. Got to give it up for him as that pass is incomplete. Looking again for Pauma'u.
And I don't hate the call, but you've got to switch things up a little bit. It is third and short. I expect a handoff here. The plus is you didn't lose yards. The negative is they kind of saw that coming. You just ran that play.
The O's are up for the student section, and he's going to be brought down right around the line of scrimmage, so it will be fourth down for the Lancers.
And there we see a little bit of some halftime adjustments in this third and short. Granger has been very effective And something along the defensive line changed there. They got the push up front instead of the offensive line, and they were Granger was unable to get the push they needed to convert a 3rd and short. And they're staying on the field, 4th and 1 at their own 23-yard line.
If you're joining us, poor special teams performance is what's keeping them on the field, and he's going to be brought down behind the line. Almost spun out of it, but big 4th down stop. And that is, again, Juni Mawala, who was the first one in there.
And this one, I'm going to have to say, is on the coaching staff. This is the beginning of the 3rd quarter. This is not desperation time. You do not go for it on 4th and down from your own 23-yard line to start the second half. Just punt it away. Your punter did have a good punt the last time out. I understand he's had a rough start, but you cannot turn the ball over on downs with just 23 yards to the end zone. You cannot put your defense in that kind of position. They need to pull a rabbit out of the hat to keep Orem out of the end zone.
And they're going to be looking for that lucky rabbit's foot right around this area of the field where Orem was able to score a touchdown earlier in the game. Ka'awa's going to roll out to the right, going to make a man miss and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, gets a gain of maybe 1 or 2.
And some great edge play there by Granger. Now, Ka'awa was supposed to roll out right. He had a receiver who's going to make a double move and go for the end zone. The DB held up just well enough that Ka'awa did not have enough time with the edge rushers coming around. He had to tuck it and run, able to squeeze up for a couple of yards. Great play by Ka'awa by not throwing a bad pass, and by the defense by forcing him in a situation where he can only get 2 or 3 yards.
Kind of a win-win situation there for both teams. We had got 2nd and 8 with 10:15 left to go here in quarter number 3. The man in motion, Max Stonebreaker, will cut to the left side. Ka'awa being rushed heavily. He's going to find Oliver Bills. Oliver Bills making men miss, and he's going to get in for a touchdown.
And that is the exact play I talked about during halftime, where in the first half they ran that exact play. They had an ineligible man downfield, a penalty called it back. They run it again. The coach seems to have gotten to his offensive line to clean up the play. They run it very well this time. Same result as the penalty touchdown, but this time without a penalty, the touchdown will stand.
We got the extra point coming up here. O's are up from the cheerleaders, at least. Student section falling a bit behind. Here they go. Coming on the outside to try and block the kick. No good on the block. That is. Field goal is good. 23-6.
Arrive in style in a great fitting suit from Mr. Mac. We feature quality designer brands like Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, Orem, and Talia, with styles to suit every man and every occasion. We ensure a perfect fit, offering fast, free alterations by expert tailors at all 9 Mr. Mac stores. Arrive in style with Mr. Mac, serving Utah for over 50 years.
There's that blue track in the Orem field as our cameraman Glenn Garrett goes to move down on the other side. Glenn, actually the sports information director for BYU men's and women's golf.
So we've got high-level officials on the Apollo Streams broadcast.
Yes, we do. We've got the namesake, Apollo Oaks, manning the camera upstairs. Andrew and I also returning for our 2nd year as broadcasters, and Glenn Garrett, who also is returning his 2nd year as the kickoff is up and caught, and he's going to try and take it out. Oh, almost lost control of the ball, but he's running backwards. But gets hit hard at the 8-yard line.
So great discipline there by the Orem special teams. They didn't just all mob the returner. They stayed in their lanes and kind of forced the Granger returner to just try to make a play, and it ended up backfiring as he kept running backwards. If he just runs into the tackles initially, he's about 6 to 10 yards further upfield position-wise for this Granger offense. Instead, due to poor blocking on the returning and that kind of playmaking backfiring, they're backed up for another poor position field.
Yeah, you saw it last drive. Again, poor execution from the special teams unit. The handoff to Fafi on the left side, and he's going to run over a couple people and make a push for the first down. We'll see where they spot the ball. They say he stepped out 2 yards short.
Granger number 24. Sunita Pepita with the run.
So again, you've got a 2nd and short.
2nd and 3.
We'll see if Orem can once again get that push up front and keep them out of that first down.
Pass over the middle, a bit too high. Looks like he wasn't quite ready for that. Was Manisela Taina.
And throwing on the run, he just overthrew it. It just floated a little too far. If the Orem safety had been paying a little bit more attention to the throw instead of the receiver, that's a pick.
100%. You know, the throwing motion looked quite great from Owen Griffin there, but just, yeah, like you said, it floated just a little bit too high, just out of the outstretched arms of Taua Atina, and just a bit tough to grab there. 3rd and 3. Going back over the middle, and again, Taua Taina not on the same page as Owen Griffin.
Intended receiver number 4.
And it just looked like the quarterback was a little bit panicked. He threw it before he needed to. His receivers weren't looking, and it was behind, and the coach will send out the punt unit this time. A smart decision. Hopefully the special teams can make a play here. They need a good punt.
Very smart decision there by Pete Smolin, the head coach at Granger. Punt is up and away. A decent punt. It's going to take a very, very nice Lancer roll to the 34-yard line where Kaue Akana is the receiver that's out. Taden Ka'awa is the quarterback who will be bringing his offense back on the field right after this short break.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I stood proud and said, "A rain gutter and siding installer." Tim Brown Jr. here, 4th-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
And we're back at it here with 9:06 left in quarter number 3. The snap, and that's going to be a handoff to Max Stonebreaker, who's going to get absolutely digested at the line of scrimmage by the front 4 of Granger.
And there we see the effectiveness of Granger's defense when they've got field behind them. They just won the line of scrimmage right there.
And that's something that we talked about. Orem's got to be able to win the line of scrimmage, something they haven't been able to do too great on the offensive side of the ball, especially when you've got 3 offensive linemen who will most definitely be playing football at the next level on a Power 4 level, nonetheless. Ka'awa looking for his receiver, finds his man. 2 receivers in the area. It was Kai Wesley, the tight end, who came down with it.
And that is something that is very encouraging to the offensive coordinator. And something we haven't discussed tonight, but you did mention just barely, Kawe Akana is out tonight, a star wide receiver for Orem. Maybe one of the reasons why Ka'awa has struggled a little bit, but that was a good throw in rhythm to his open receiver. Great play and very encouraging play for Ka'awa.
Yep, and missed what you said just a little bit. We had a Parker Kingston accident here on the sideline into the trash can for the Orem Tigers, but we're going to be running back up. Luckily, the player was not on the field, and it will still be around the same yardage at the 41, 42 maybe, where they'll spot it. It'll be 4th and 2.
And so a great defensive stand there, forcing 4th down near midfield. Orem is going to play the field position game up 3 scores. Very smart decision, but also a win here for the Granger Lancers. They get the ball back, and they are hoping they can make a play, get some better field position, help out the offense a little bit, and set them up in a position where they can drive down the field and make this game a little bit more competitive.
You've seen, a couple of good punts, a couple of not so good punts from Isanaliai so far tonight. We'll see if this one's able to go end over end. Gets it up, not too shabby. He's going to fumble it, though. Lose control of it. Does Orem have it? I don't think they do. They're not signaling they do, and that's going to be a lucky break for the Lancers. I was looking, even when he went to filled that punt. It was coming in very quickly. We've got an injured player down on the field.
And so very fortunate for the returner. He's coming up to a drive punt, and he doesn't get set very well to catch it. It comes in a little too fast through his arms, and very fortunate that a few bounces he's able to jump back on it. Fortunate, but well done on the recovery there as he is down, and we just hope he's okay.
We'll be back after these short messages from our sponsors.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I stood proud and said, "A rain gutter and siding installer." Tim Brown Jr. here, fourth-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
Man is still down on the field. I've seen that a lot tonight from Granger. We talked about the disparity in weight and height, the size of these players. And these Granger players are struggling to keep up with it.
And it's just kind of one of those things when you go up against a bigger team, you've got the starters. Some of them are a similar size, but if a few of them go down, you stick in the backups who are a little bit smaller, you're going to see some attrition. Football is a game of attrition. Who's the deeper team? Who's able to keep early on? Granger's just had a few nagging injuries. The players are coming back, but they're going down again.
Yeah, he's getting helped off slowly. I can't quite tell the number, but he's definitely favoring one of his legs.
I believe that is number 0.
That's not good. That's Uli Figuel, the punter, kicker, receiver, corner and return man for the Lancers. He's kind of the Kawhi Akana of Granger.
A very important player. We'll see how the depth comes in here for Granger as they try to claw their way back into this game, down 17.
That's going to be a false start on the center, number 55.
And so both of these teams having a lot of pre-snap penalties, having a lot of just little ticky-tacky penalties on the offensive line, and it's just starting to bite as it sends Granger a little further back, 1st and 15, when they finally had good field position.
That's going to be Tavita Vaea, who gets nabbed with the penalty. As a run from Fafita gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or two past.
Gain of about 2 for Granger.
And a great tackle there as the defensive lineman was being blocked pretty well, but just able to shed his tackler and wrap one arm around the running back and then get the other around him and took him down before major yardage was gained.
We've got the 2 running back set. We've got the fullback, Bobo Kofe, and the running back in Fafita, Sunia Fafita. There's going to be a pass play, though. Hit off the hands, and he picked it off! Oh, my goodness!
And there we see just a little bit of unlucky play. This is one of those plays that the interception should not go on the quarterback. It should go on the receiver. That hit his receiver right in the numbers, and it just popped up as he wasn't able to corral it. And had the Orem defender not been tripped on his way to catching that, that is a pick 6. And so a little bit of luck on an unlucky play for Granger. A turnover nonetheless, and this game is starting to get further and further out of reach as not only are they starting to lose on the scoreboard, but they're losing the turnover battle.
Down 2-1, and that one's tough for Owen Griffin. Like you said, that one shouldn't be going on him. That one's got to go on the receiver for not hanging on to it. Kawa Eskin. He's going to wisely throw it out of bounds. Almost nailed our cameraman, Glenn Garrett, right in the face.
And so there you see the quarterback Kawa. He was just hanging. He didn't quite get through his reads quick enough on that play. There was a receiver running a deep post that ran open in the end zone, unable to see him as he just held onto the ball a little too long and scrambled. Ultimately a good decision in throwing it away, but he's got to get through his. It's just a little bit quicker as the play develops.
And that you'll see that come over time. You've got a couple of new receivers in Max Stonebreak. You got Preston Thompson, who hasn't seen a whole lot of playing time. He's been a bit sick this week, so he's not playing tonight. But this is a team that you're going to see just get better and better from here with the run up the middle. That'll bring up 3rd and 6 or 7.
And right now, I'm starting to see that offensive line start to establish a little up front. On that pass play, just a play ago that was incomplete, they actually held up in the pocket very well. One player eventually broke through and it caused them to throw it away. But there you're able to get a push, get a few yards, set up a 3rd and 7 instead of a 3rd and 10.
And this is kind of where Orem's been stifled so far tonight. These 3rd downs, a place where Granger has done all right. Orem's really struggled. They're going to find Mac Ellison, who's going to get enough for a 1st down. He'll go right in front of our cameraman, Glenn Garrett. And let's take a look at this replay real quick if we can before they snap the ball. The team will huddle up, and you'll see roll out to the left.
So this is that play that was incomplete a little bit ago. But on that play, just barely for the 1st down, I like the play call. Get your man outside. The wide receivers have done excellent in blocking the DBs. If they just get outside, that's where their yardage has been gained.
The snap is a low one. He's just going to throw it at the feet of his running back, Beckham Curtis, as Ka'awa. Smart move there as number 41, Matene Puamau, was getting in there close and almost caused some major disruption.
And so a win there for the Granger defense and a good decision to just get rid of the ball before a sack or a turnover happens there. So a good play on both sides there on a 1st down.
We've talked about it tonight. You may not see anything crazy special the way Taden Ka'awa plays the game, but his football IQ, definitely one of the highest we've seen. Finds his man over the middle, and that is
incomplete.
Nope, they do say it's Kai Wesley.
So Wesley bobbled it a little bit, but he was wide open. A great find there by Ka'awa as Wesley just runs the slant on the slot. And so he finds himself open, bobbles a little bit, comes down with it, 1st and goal.
This is the same formation we saw earlier with Easton Kojima getting the touchdown run, but he is hit hard behind the line. Can't quite tell what number that is. Looked to be number 7. That is Isaiah Etiaki with a big hit from the Lancers.
And there you saw the defensive Granger just stiffen up. They've seen that play before. That is the play that the 1st touchdown was scored on. They read it, and they were able to get behind the line and stuff him for no gain.
You see that same formation. They're going to go right back at it again. And again, that's Etiaki in there with the stop.
And if you're Orem, I'm taking that. Gain of 2 this close to the goal line. You just cut the distance in half. Makes it much easier to punch it into the end zone as it's 3rd and goal from the 2 or the 3.
Especially when you're up 23-6 and you've got 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. I think you just got to take your time and hope to punch it in, especially with the struggles that Granger's seen in trying to get the ball downfield when they're in tough field position. Different formation out this time. He's going to look for his man on the right side. Max Stonebreaker, get yourself a touchdown. 1st and an Orem uniform.
And just a wonderful play design. He gets Stonebreaker open as he just runs a short diagonal route to the front corner of the end zone. He was already in motion, and so the Granger defense was a little bit behind on the motion, unable to catch up. Ka'awa, great decision, sees his man, finds him wide open in the end zone.
You're not going to get much more wide open than that as Stonebreaker is able to stifle the defense, as we'll bring out the special teams unit, see if they can now. Oh, and that one's blocked, but he catches it, but I don't think you can do that. Would have been quite cool. But that one's going to be blocked, and that one is blocked by Uli Figiel.
So let's just take a quick look at that touchdown play from field level. You'll see Orem sends a man in motion here. There he is, Stonebreaker in motion. The defense a little bit slow to react. Ka'awa rolls to his right, finds his man, sees he's wide open, and there's a touchdown. And so there you see the genius of the offensive play calling. This is what Orem can do when they just get their players to execute as a unit. They are on paper a much better football team. If they just execute, they can establish dominance as they have in this second half.
There you saw a quick shot of the student section. Shout out to our cameraman, Glenn Garrett, down there. Almost got nailed on that last drive by a Taden Kaawa pass. But we'll bring back out the kicking unit, and we'll see what happened. A poor kick return last time from the Lancers, but they're not going to get a chance to return it this time. That one is going to bounce out of the end zone for a touchback.
And you can see Orem actually tried to lure Granger into returning that. They placed that perfectly. It bounced on the 1 yard line in the corner and then into the end zone. They were trying to get Granger to try to do the same thing they just did, where they return it and then pin him deep. Smart play by the returner. Just let it go. Set up your offense 1st and 20.
This Granger defense, or excuse me, this Orem defense has been quite stifling so far tonight. It looks like they have a couple of their second team unit in, at least on the line of scrimmage.
And up 23 with 3:50 to go in the third quarter of the opening game. Non-region play, I don't hate that decision. Get some guys in there. Keep your first team healthy, especially along the defensive line where there's so much attrition, so many injuries. Just keep your guys fresh. Get some experience, get some development. The game, Orem is in control right now. Some crazy things can happen in high school football, and they often do. But right now, Orem is in control.
We're seeing MJ Bateman in the game, the left end right now, as shocker, Moala with another sack. That's 5 this year. He had 5.5 last year. So safe to say Moala's looking like he's going to be a little bit better than he was last year.
That's his 5th sack on the night, like you just said. And he just let the play with his hands up because the quarterback literally walked right into his arms. He just pushed the right tackle back, and the quarterback stepping up in the pocket just ended up right in his arms for a sack.
You know, when you just walk right into his arms, there's not a whole lot else you can do there.
Excuse me, that was the left tackle on this play. He's been switching sides a little bit, but he's owned both tackles. He is owning his matchups tonight.
100%, and you see why even in his first year being here at Orem, that Genie Moala was voted as a captain by his teammates.
And so another pre-snap penalty from Granger. They've had a few of those tonight in the the second half. The third quarter, just coming out of halftime, they've really struggled to gain any momentum.
Looking on the outside, finds his man, and he's hit hard. Was that Will Rasmussen? No, that was Isa Naliai in there with the big hit on the Lancer receiver.
And so I don't hate that from Orem. It's 2nd and long. You don't want to give up a big play. You play a little bit softer in coverage. You back off a little bit. So Granger says, thank you, we'll take a few yards to get in better position. But it's still 2nd and very long. So I believe it's 3rd and very long. And so you just set yourself up for success here on 3rd and long defensively for Orem.
That's going to actually, they call a targeting call there on Isa Naliai.
I missed the flag there. But luckily in high school football, unlike in college, targeting does not throw you out of the game. So it's a costly penalty, but luckily for Naliai, he does get to stay in the game.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it is still the same. If you do get 2 unsportsmanlike penalties, that you are still taken out of the game, right? And I assume a similar thing would happen if you get 2 targetings.
Like 2 personal fouls like that, 2 targetings, unsportsmanlike, you are out of the game, but that is the first of the night for Naliai.
Who needs Dean Blandino when we've got Andrew Peterson, our rules expert, as that pass is thrown away?
And speaking of rules, the ball did not cross the line of scrimmage there, but it is not intentional grounding. It is intentional grounding, because it did not cross the line of scrimmage. Had it crossed the line of scrimmage, he was outside the tackle box, but that is an intentional grounding, and so essentially a sack, but without the hit.
Hey, shout out to the Peterson family if they're watching. They raised a walking, talking high school football rule book in Andrew Peterson. Like, super glad that he's here tonight. Won't be with us all season, unfortunately, but we'll be covering a team of his own later this season.
I will be heading to Skyridge to help the Skyridge broadcasts out for most of the season. Occasionally I will be here with Orem, though. And so it's just a pleasure to be here tonight. Watching Orem, they've got a great future if they can just put a few things together. There are stars all over the field, and you're seeing in the second half, they're starting to put it together. They are dominating right now defensively, and offensively, they've had short fields, and so they've been able to score touchdowns.
Yeah, Orem's just, like, looking over the roster as preparing for this game. We both just kind of looked at each other in awe of just how great this team was, as that passes another incomplete pass from Owen Griffin.
And so Granger does have a little bit of, they do have some talent. They've got a couple 3-stars, a few 2-stars. So they have some guys who can play at the next level. But Orem just has so many that it has been overwhelming so far in the ballgame for Granger to keep up. Even with a few sloppy plays from Orem, they have just been so overwhelming physically. They're just so much bigger and so much better on paper and on the field so far that they've dominated a bit.
This Orem student section getting loud right here as it's third down as they bring the rush and a forced fumble. We'll see who comes up with it.
And it looks like Orem has the ball. Orem thought they had the ball. The referees rule Granger recovers it. And Griffin is just walking off the field. He's a little bit done right now. Very frustrated. If you see, Orem sent a corner blitz, and so he was not able to see. When he did see, he stepped up in the pocket, but the offensive line did not hold up well enough to keep the defensive lineman out of the backfield, that he stepped right into pressure. They stripped him. Luckily, they were able to recover and be able to punt right here, but it's been a very frustrating half, a frustrating game overall for Griffin.
That punt was almost blocked by number 32 for the Tigers. Oh, is that one nails one of the coaches right in the face? Looks like he's okay, though.
So this punt unit for Granger's gotten a little bit better, but they've just been punting way too much tonight.
You hate to see a punt that many times from any level of football. You know, one, if you're punting that many times, you're not going for it a whole lot, which if you're, a quarterback, if you're a running back, receiver, you want to be going for it more. And they have been going for it a lot tonight. But there's just also been so many punts, only 3 drives that have ended without punts.
2 of them were interceptions.
And 2 of them were interceptions. The other was a touchdown. And it's brutal. Kawa's back out there, though, with the Orem offense. Let's see if they can score again on this drive. Looking deep. Does he have his man? And he does! That is Mac Ellison off of the tip.
And so Orem going in with a killer instinct. Ka'awa, a great play design. There was a wheel route that was open for a second, but Ka'awa is a little bit patient, sees it's going to be covered up. His man comes free. It's a little bit underthrown, and Ka'awa catches a break as it should have been intercepted, but it was tipped and right into the hands of the receiver, running free on the go route, who scores a touchdown for Orem. A break for Orem there. It should have been intercepted, but ultimately ends up in a touchdown.
It's just not been the Lancers' night. Again, in and out of the hands of Manisela Taina. He's played great, has had so many unfortunate events happen as that extra point is off the upright. Back-to-back missed extra points now. Orem's got to be kicking themselves tonight for that. Not really, but about the only thing going wrong right now for the Tigers.
And so an interesting thing there with that missed extra point. Had they made it, it's a 30-point ball game. I believe in high school, when you're up 30 going into the fourth quarter, it's a running clock. They don't stop the clock unless it's a timeout or a touchdown. And so with it being 29 points, we're going to have a little bit more time.
1:36 remaining in quarter number 3. We'll get ready for the kickoff from the Tigers, and that is number 92, who's been doing the kicking duties tonight. And we don't have his name. So good for you, number 92. Way to make the roster. Way to be a big part of this team. He's been booting it well tonight. Or is that's
82?
That's 82. That's my bad.
And that will be Kaue Akana.
I think Ben Bradley is 82. Akana's 13.
Excuse me.
Ben Bradley, the senior kicker, short, 5'6", 165 pounds, but
Number 0, James Feigl, making it out to the 24-yard line where they'll start their drive. First and 10.
And so out comes Griffin, still visibly frustrated with his team.
yeah, you're a transfer quarterback. It's your first game with a brand new team, and it's just not what you want to be seeing if you're Owen Griffin. You come in, you had some great fall camps, great camps over the summer, highly written about by a couple of reporters, but just it hasn't amounted to much so far tonight. Another bad snap as Fafita has just got a fall on it.
Granger will fall back to the 10-yard line.
I think that was a designed direct snap to the running back, but the snapper just missed. He went between the running back and the quarterback, and so they just had to run back and jump on it. Makes it 2nd and 18.
See, and this isn't anything bad on our center here tonight, but you've seen all the trouble with the snap that Granger has had. If you're a coach, why are you calling that play? Fafita's got room on the outside. He's going to be brought down quickly, though. Right around the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1 or 2.
And so a great job on the outside. The DB is coming up to make the tackle. A lot of DBs will shy away a little bit. They don't like the contact. And so they just come up quickly and force the tackle as it looks like a receiver who was blocking is down on the play.
With that, we will take a short break as we hear from some of our sponsors.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I stood proud and said, "A rain gutter and siding installer." Tim Brown Jr. here, 4th-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
Arrive in style in a great fitting suit from Mr. Mac. We feature quality designer brands like Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, and Talia, with styles to suit every man and every occasion. We ensure a perfect fit, offering fast, free alterations by expert tailors at all 9 Mr. Mac stores. Arrive in style with Mr. Mac, serving Utah for over 50 years.
Back in action now. It's 3rd and 20 with 39 seconds. Here, the ball is on the Granger 14 as Granger is just hoping for something to happen. Shout out to the cheerleader down here who you can't see. Almost biffed it on the backflip, but was able to regain her balance. Didn't face plant into the track.
And so here's the point of the game. You're down by 29. Sure, you'd like some miracles to happen, but at this point, you just need some positive plays. You need some film to look at that built a little bit of confidence going into next week.
Looking deep. Does he have his man? Almost in and out of the hands of number 0, Uli Figiel.
And that was a great play design. It looked like the receiver had just a step, but the safety coming over made it just difficult enough for the receiver to reach out and grab that ball. It was just out of his reach. It looked like they were going to hit, and so just a touch out of his reach.
Yeah, and it's 4th down. The punt team's back out, and, at this point, you're almost waving the white flag if you're the Lancers. And some more dirty laundry on the field.
And so another penalty, backing things up, and I'm getting a little bit nervous here this close to the goal line with the troubles of with this special teams unit. Are we going to see another mishap?
Percentage chance this ends up being a safety.
17.
Let's see how correct Andrew is. High snap, almost blocked. It gets the punt away as number 12, oh, hits hard. Man, Parker Murray, the man. Parker Murray wasn't feeling too well earlier tonight, was expressing some, we'll just say he wasn't feeling well tonight. We'll spare you the graphic details, but he's back and making moves on the special teams unit.
So just 6 seconds left here in the third quarter. Do you go for another killer play, just end the quarter, see if you can score, get that 30-plus point lead, and have a running clock in the fourth quarter?
See, I think you just treat this like it's any other play in any other quarters. We've got our backup quarterback warming up on the sideline here for the Tigers. Oh, in and out of the hands. That was intended for Steeler Wesley, the younger brother of Kai Wesley.
And so that was a good play design. The receiver was open. The ball just a little bit misplaced, but it was through his hands. Probably should have been caught. And so probably I'm going to chalk that up to first game jitters here.
Probably.
Still. Getting some reps early on in the season.
And that was Abe Palmer. That's my bad. Abe Palmer's only reception last year went for a touchdown, however.
Yeah, well, you can't mess it up then. You got to drop it. Keep the 100% reception touchdown rate.
Exactly. Nice pitch play out to Oliver Bills. Oliver Bills has been a man to look out for tonight as he's doing somersaults of all sorts. And that's going to take us to the end of quarter number 3. We've got Orem 35, the Granger Lancers 6, right here on Apollo Streams.
Arrive in style in a great fitting suit from Mr. Mac. We feature quality designer brands like Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, and Talia, with styles to suit every man and every occasion. We ensure a perfect fit, offering fast, free alterations by expert tailors at all 9 Mr. Mac stores. Arrive in style with Mr. Mac, serving Utah for over 50 years.
We'd like to thank Mr. Mac for sponsoring us. Mr. Mac, there's 9 locations in Utah from Logan to St. George. Make sure you look good, feel good, and play good for Mr. Mac.
Just a little scoreboard update around the state for games that you may be interested. Sky Ridge, who is being broadcasted by one of our other Apollo Streams teams, is up 52-17 over Mountain Ridge. Pretty dominant right now. Lone Peak, that Orem will be playing next week, is up 35-14. So a similar score that Orem's up right now, 35-6. So look for that matchup next week as Orem will visit Lone Peak. And then Logan, who Granger will play next week, is up 47-14 on Hillcrest.
See, that's my alma mater right there, the Hillcrest Huskies. It's got to be tough to see. Almost dropped there, but Abe Palmer ruins his only catching touchdowns and gets reception number 2 in the last 2 years.
And, I'm just wondering if I should compliment him on the catch or if I should just be sad that his 100% reception to touchdown ratio is down 50%.
50%, that's a pretty big hit, even this early in the career. But, ultimately, I think he's going to be okay with doing anything to help his team out. Ooh, a nice little run play from Beckham Curtis. Gets about 3 yards.
And just a little bit of misdirection throwing off the defensive line there as they line up on the right, run at the quarterback as if he's running off to the left, but turns back for a run off the right tackle for a gain of 3 or 4.
It is 2nd and 6. Ball on the 26. Would be about a 43-yard field goal. Don't think it's quite in Isanalia's range. Or the pass. Nice screen pass. Finds Steeler Wesley on the outside. The big stiff arm, but brought down with that said arm being held stiffly into the face of the defender. That's Steeler Wesley. Steeler Wesley, only a sophomore right now, but he's going to be a name to watch. Picked up in the offseason offers from the University of Oregon, the University of Arkansas, and the University of Texas A&M.
So some big names there, and that screenplay right there, I just want to break that down. It looks like that's going to be a staple of the offense this year. That's been a very successful, get your receiver in open space on the outside on these screens. Those have been when Orem has been getting these first downs.
Well, we've got 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Ka'awa's going to run it himself. Taking hits and touchdown! Tayden Ka'awa! Remember the name!
And that is what the Alabama coaching staff sees out of Tayden Ka'awa. The raw athletic ability. Sure, some of the throws tonight haven't been there. Some have been. He's showing flashes, and that right there is one of those flashes. The play is breaking down. It's a design quarterback run, and he takes a little bit of a hit stepping up, breaks through that, gets into space, takes a couple hits, runs over defenders, and standing up into the end zone for the touchdown.
And if you're Kalen DeBoer, head coach over at Alabama, you got to be pretty pleased with what you're seeing from potentially the quarterback of the future for the Crimson Tide. Kick is up, and that one's through, and for the first time in 3 tries.
I believe this is the point in which Chris Collinsworth says, now that is what we see out of Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, Chris Collinsworth obviously loving Patrick Mahomes. We love Patrick Mahomes here on Apollo Streams. Not quite as much as Chris Collinsworth, but
I'm not a Chiefs fan.
neither am I, but I think you got to give credit where it's due. Patrick Mahomes obviously one of the best players in the NFL. Where do you think he ranks currently in quarterbacks in the NFL?
Very hot take.
Okay,
Okay, are you ready for this hot take?
I think so.
If Joe Burrow ends up at the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes is at the Bengals, Joe Burrow has more Super Bowls and Patrick Mahomes is hurt every year.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say about the quarterbacks in the NFL.
no, I agree. I think it's so interesting because Joe Burrow is, I think, one of the best, most skilled, but I don't think he's able to show it all that often.
He's just stuck on a team where the owner's just messing up. The owner doesn't seem interested in winning. That's all I have to say about the Bengals. We'll come back here to Orem and Granger.
Hey, a couple I'm going to stay with the Bengals because I like the Bengals. That one bounces over the head. Maybe should have let that one go, but some great blocking. Should have gone up the middle. Kind of dancing around and is going to be brought down at the 15 as that is Mateni Puamau, who is dancing through life currently as we've hit now 100 days out until the new Wicked movie is released.
I did not see that stat coming.
No, I went with a little dancing through life, pulled out Wicked. I saw that. Maybe it was 100 days yesterday, but
We'll say it's 100 days just for the sake of the broadcast.
hey, I'm good with that.
But that's one of those plays where you just take what's given you. The dancing around, trying to make people miss has made Granger, it just cost them too many times on these returns.
See, and now I've got the song Dancing Through Life stuck in my head. There's a run to the right side, and he's staying up. Good bit of yardage there. And that's good for a gain of 6. Oh, my goodness! The Orem High Cheer Squad is on another level right now. Backflips, handsprings, aerials. Oh, here goes the double back handspring. Can they turn it into a backflip? They do. Both of them sink it. So we'll get back to football. Owen Griffin looking for a man on the right side. He's got him. And he tiptoes, brings in the catch. And finally, Uli Figuel has something positive happen to him tonight.
And so there is where we're seeing one of Granger's strengths. When they have time for the play to develop downfield, you've seen the quarterback has good touch. He's got a good deep ball. The problem is they haven't had the opportunity to throw that very much tonight. They've thrown it 3 times. 2 of them have gone for around 30-plus yards.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's been tough as, not bad. 5 yards there for Ta'aina. But I don't know. At this point, if you're Granger, if you were to, I know you're not prepared with this, but if you were to come up with some keys to the last 8:25 of the fourth quarter, what are you looking to do here if you're Granger?
I want to see more of what they just did. I want to see more setting up the deep ball. I want to see more of Fafita running the ball like this. Of course,
this is Bobo Kofe. Oh! Take that for breakfast.
I just want to see them just play free. They were a little bit nervous to start the game, and rightly so. It's the first game of the season against a very talented Orem team. I just want to see them playing free. Let it rip. Find some plays that you can build on as you travel to play Logan next week, a Logan team that is up very big in their game right now.
I was watching Hillcrest play last week, speaking of that Logan game, and Hillcrest, both the first and second string quarterbacks, lefties. Something you don't see a whole lot is we most likely getting a false start.
That's going to be a false start on the running back. He just took a step a little too early before the snap was there.
Yeah, you just hate to see it. We made the reference earlier. It's like pressing A little bit too early in Mario Kart. You're going to get that false start. You're going to spin out, and it's going to cost you a couple seconds. We're pulling out Mario Kart references. Wicked. What else we got going on tonight?
We had a Big Mac reference.
We did have a Big Mac reference. I did really enjoy that one. Pulling it in with Mr. Mac, one of our sponsors. Shout out to them. Griffin looking for his man again. Just a bit too far.
And I like the courage to just take the shot. You're down big. You've got nothing to lose. And the play was actually well run, just a little bit overthrown. The receiver did come open. And so this is a time where you can just practice these plays and find out which receivers you have the most chemistry with in game situations.
We're going to pull out another reference here. Owen Griffin not throwing away his shot with that one as Hamilton's coming up on its 10-year anniversary. As Andrew Peterson shakes his head in disgust at me, but not at Bobo Kofe, who's still on his feet and running. That might be good enough for a first down on a big, long 15-yard run for the Lancer running back.
And something that you're seeing is now that they've opened up the deep throw game, Orem has to respect that a little bit. They've backed off a little bit, the linebackers, and these big runs are breaking through. And so here you're seeing a little bit of rhythm, something we haven't seen much for this Granger team.
The snap again to Kofe. Kofe is going to find his way through into the blue and yellow end zone. Touchdown, Lancers.
The first touchdown of the year for Kofe, and he had 3 great plays on this drive. He had 2 big runs and then that touchdown run where he just kind of rumbles over some defenders, follows some really good blocking. Now, granted, a lot of this Orem defense is second-team defense, but still things you like to see, some confidence-building moments, a little bit of rhythm as they stay out on the field to go for 2.
You know, this is something I like seeing here. Going for 2, you struggled with the field goal unit, the special teams unit in general all night. We've got Kofe again. I just hand it right back off to him. They go to the tight end. Not quite able to bring it in, though.
And so something that happened there, the receiver to the far right was running diagonally to the front corner of the end zone. He stumbled out of the break, and that was the first read. And so he quickly is looking for someone to throw the ball to as the defenders are closing in to get the sack, and he throws it a little rushed to his man in the end zone, and is a little bit behind him. Maybe should have made the grab, maybe shouldn't, but still great defensive play causing the stumble out of the break and just not enough time to get through that second read and set himself to throw that ball correctly.
It's been a long night of football here in Family City, USA. We'd like to thank all of you joining us here tonight on the Apollo Stream Network. Whether you're watching on the KUTV YouTube channel, KUTV Facebook page, within the Apollo Streams Network app itself, or on the Apollo Streams, I guess those are the only 3 places you can find it right now. But, hey, 3 places is pretty good for a high school broadcast. And the kicking team comes out. Cameron Clark, play-by-play voice tonight, joined by the walking, talking rulebook, Andrew Peterson.
It's a 3-piece broadcast. You can find 3-piece suits at Mr. Mac.
Yes, you can. Look at that.
A great place to find a suit. Like we mentioned earlier, we both had one for our missions. They're both still good suits. They survived the heat of Arizona, the blistering sun, the hot summer days.
Yes, they did. Just saw it was 118 degrees the other day in Arizona, the hottest day on record for the month of August in Arizona.
I'm very grateful. I love Arizona. I'm grateful I'm here.
Me too. I only have one companion still left in the mission as that ball is booted off and away. Said companion is from Texas, very big high school football over there. I'd like to see Orem compete in the state of Texas. They got a ton of really high Power 4, commits and players with offers. I'd love to see kind of what they would be able to do to compete, in a state like that where with Texas you see so many high-profile schools.
It would be interesting to see. I think they've got to clean up a few things. They've just got to clean up some pre-snap things, offensive line. Got to be less penalties, less false starts, less holds. But like we've mentioned all night long, they have great players. Once they gel as a unit, this team will be nearly impossible to stop at the 5A level.
Coach Reynolds very pleased with not that play, but with most everything else that he was hearing in practice as Beckham Curtis is swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage, chewed around and properly digested by this Granger defensive line that's been killing it all night.
And right now we've got the second team offense in for Orem. This is the fourth quarter, 30 points. They might as well get some reps. That's kind of the thought process here of the coaching staff. We don't want our star players getting hurt in a first game of the season in a non-region game. We've got some good film on them. Now let's just develop some guys. Let's keep our guys healthy. And so we've got the second team in, and obviously not ready for the first play that we just saw.
There's going to be timeout called by Granger. We've got some of the Granger coaching staff in the booth right next to us, and that's how we found that one out. Heard them say, nope, we called the timeout. Let's take a short break and be back right after this message.
In grade school, when the teacher asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I stood proud and said, "A rain gutter and siding installer." Junior here, 4th-generation owner of RGS Exteriors. My great-grandpa started the business in the 50s, then my grandpa, then my dad, and now me today. I wake up every day thinking, man, I am living the dream. If you want siding, windows, or gutters from people that really care, RGS Exteriors is your only call.
Back to the action now. We've seen almost everything here tonight. We've seen a forced fumble. The only thing we haven't seen is a recovered fumble. We've seen blocked kicks. We've seen safeties. We've seen touchdowns. We've seen runs from Oliver Bills, and we've seen a lot of that tonight as he is brought down hard by Monticello Tawataina. That's a name we've been saying a lot tonight.
And again, a wonderful misdirection there on the running play from Orem. The run appears to be going left from the set of the play. They grabbed the ball and immediately turned right. The defense has already shifted to the left side of the field, and there's nothing but green grass there for Bills to take it up 20 or so yards.
Bills, the man in motion, cutting to the left side. That one's going to be handed off to Beckham Curtis, who's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
And that's a second-team offense type of play. They just didn't seem organized once the play began. Before the play, things looked to be well in motion, but once it began, everything was immediately muddied up in the middle, exactly where the run was supposed to go.
And we haven't seen the arm too much yet from the sophomore backup quarterback, coming at 5'9", 148 in Lucky Sugataraga. There's the arm. Dropped.
And so Chris Jansen there was the intended receiver, and he's smacking his helmet right now because he knows he should have caught that for his quarterback. It was a little bit in front of him when he was a stationary target, but that was still right in his arms. He needs to come down with that and turn upfield for a gain of 5 yards there. Instead, we've got a 3rd and 12. As the clock continues to run, because like I said earlier, a 30-point lead in the fourth quarter is a running clock in Utah high school football.
Let me tell you, I saw that pretty much every game in high school when I was calling games for Hillcrest. It was not uncommon to see it 40-0 at the end of the first quarter. Granger now in Hillcrest's region. So, that one's going to be dropped, but a whistle blown, false start on the second team offensive line.
And you don't like to see false starts, but in that case, that saved them because that was a fumble. That was going to be a fumble and likely a recovery for Granger. They were going to get on top of that ball. And so a false start there saving the play for Orem, setting up a 3rd and 17.
3rd and 17, 3rd and eons, as we've been calling it tonight.
If you can get a second-team offense, convert a 3rd and 17, you definitely deserve a big contract. It is high school football, so you won't get one.
Another flag, this one coming from the back judge. Delay of game.
But maybe you just get an extra Capri Sun at the end of the game.
Hey, I'll take that. Capri Suns are pretty good.
Capri Suns are great. They're not a sponsor, but they could be.
They could be. We take them on. My sister, bringing her home from cheer practice the other day, and she had a Capri Sun as Saga Turaga finds Oliver Bills, and Oliver Bills has got room. He's going to convert the first down. Oh, he gets tripped up.
He was tripped up just a yard shy. So it's 4th and 1. No Capri Sun.
No Capri Sun for you, Oliver Bills. But anyways, back to my story. My sister dropped the straw right down the side of the car where you can't grab anything from. And I don't know if I've ever been more just disappointed in someone, because that's the most key part of the Capri Sun. Without that straw, you're not going to be able to get any of the drink.
Is there a more devastating feeling in life than holding a Capri Sun and having a broken straw or losing the straw?
No, not at all. It's such a specific straw. There's not much else that you can really put in there. It's tough.
And you get everything here on Apollo Streams. Yeah. We break down football games. We break down Capri Sun techniques and disappointments in life. Maybe we're just projecting our Capri Sun sadness that we just don't have one.
Hey, Capri Sun, if you're out there listening, we'd welcome the sponsorship. We'd play your commercials.
And obviously we'll advertise for you.
Oh, 100%. We're already doing it.
On air.
Delay a game there as they look for more room to pin Granger deep. Naliai, good punt. That was going to take a nice roll. Can they stop it before it gets to the end zone? Touchback.
And it looked like initially the player diving into the end zone was able to get it before it dropped, but the player he threw it back to slid into the end zone, and that caused a touchback. With just 2 minutes and 1 second left to go, the clock is going to continue to be a running clock once the referee blows their whistle, and we'll just probably run out this game on this possession.
You know, probably should shoot the Capri Sun talk now, but if you want some more, Orem Tigers, their colors, the same as the Capri Suns.
And Capri Sun, if you're listening, that is the last time we will advertise without getting paid.
Yep. We'll start going to Kool-Aid. Good run on the right side.
Just unable to set the edge there, and it dropped for no gain.
Fun fact, Kool-Aid, the official snack or drink, I believe, of Nebraska.
Nebraska's just one of those college football teams that I wish was good but never is.
Yeah.
You just feel bad for them at this point.
Owen Griffin has a man. And finally, we are able to mention Lou Kini tonight.
And he's slow to get up. He got chopped down at the knees. He does get up. Good thing to see. But it's like I just talked about 5-10 minutes ago. Griffin's got a good downfield ball. He's got a good spiral. He's got good touch. And he's finding his receivers downfield when he has time. The problem is tonight he just hasn't.
Yeah, it's been a bit tough for anyone but Bobo Kofe, who right now has been one of the best players we've seen on the field from both teams this last quarter.
So what we're finding right now is some things that Granger can take into Logan next week. They have a deep ball threat. They can throw that. They've got two running backs who can get good yards in short yard situations and just to set up a second and manageable. Bobo Kofe has been very good. Fafitz has been good.
Griffin looking deep. Oh, almost had it there.
And so that ball was just a tad underthrown. The receiver had to hold up a little bit. The DB got there. I'm not sure that the DB didn't get there a little too early. Nonetheless, no call. Unable to corral the ball with his one free hand.
Make sure to stay tuned for a little bit after the game. We've got 37 seconds left. We won't be too long. Won't take too much of your Friday night. But stay tuned for both mine and Andrew's player of the game. We'll see if they're the same. We'll see if they're different. We'll hand out one on both offense and defense. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Oh, there's our favorite penalty. That one's declined, though. If you had to pick a favorite penalty.
A favorite penalty?
Yes.
It's got to be the kick out of bounds because it never happened.
I like that one. Hey, we saw it earlier today.
We did see it earlier today, and it actually cost the receiving team.
Yes, yes, it did. That one, sack, not by the name of Junie Moala, but his backup, Owen Penrod, who now has half the sacks as he did last year. Had 2 last year, has already got 1 so far this season.
So some big moments. Moala had 5.5 sacks last year. He's had 5 tonight. And now we've got the first sack of the year for his backup.
And I mean, that's 6 sacks.
And I believe there's a timeout on the field. Not sure why. There's 21.6 seconds left. Orem student section knows they've won it. They've known they've won it for a while now as they just absolutely dominated the second half.
And this is something I've been waiting to talk about all night. So the Orem student section are known as... Oh, they found a misaligned retainer near the concessions. Anyways, the Orem student section known as the ambush. Why, you may ask, a group of tigers is called an ambush. Hence the name of the student section being the ambush.
And that is your biology stat of the day, brought to you by Mr. Mac. Mr. Mac.
Hey.
I don't have a way to connect them to tigers, but they do have great suits.
Hey, a lot of these kids are going to be serving missions here in the next couple of years. They got to be going to the Mr. Mac and Orem to get fitted for their missions.
And so Granger just took a knee there, ending the game. Orem had a very dominant second half, exactly what we expected them to do all night. Took them a minute to figure it out, came out of the second half, executed, just dominated on both sides of the ball.
The final buzzer is sounded, and that's going to be the final score, 42-12, as the Granger Lancers couldn't figure out how to penetrate the eye of the tiger.
We've got references all over the place.
All over tonight, folks. That's what a 30-point game gives you. So let's talk about now some of our players of the game. I'll let you go first. Player of the game, I'll let you pick offense or defense first.
Defensively, the player of the game has got to be Junie Moala. 5 sacks tonight. He was in the backfield all night long. He didn't just get sacks. He got the runners. He disrupted the offensive line all night long, made it very difficult to move the ball downfield for Granger. It was nearly impossible to get any momentum when he was in the backfield, which was all night long.
Oh, 100%. He's going to have to start paying rent for how much time he spent in the backfield there. I 100% agree with you there. Definitely got to be Junie Moala, the transfer from Davis, making some big noise and some big waves in the first in the first game playing here for Orem. Talking with Coach Reynolds before the game, he hyped him up a lot, and so it's going to be interesting to see if he lived up to the hype. Well, I'd say 5 sacks lives up and pretty much even beats any of the hype anyone could give him. For the offensive play of the game, for me, I'm going to take wrong sheet that I was looking at there. Max Stonebreaker. I really liked the way Max Stonebreaker was used in the motion game tonight. You saw him in motion a lot. But I'm actually going to give a co-offensive player of the game to both him and Oliver Bills. Oliver Bills was all over the place tonight. Backup quarterback, backup running back, and stepped up big as they were missing Levi Moala. And I love Bills. I love Stonebreaker. What about you?
So we talked about him several times throughout the night. I'm actually going to have to give my offensive MVP to Taden Ko'awa, and here's the reason why. I love those running backs, and they did a wonderful job. And if their production was combined to one player, I would give that player the offensive player of the game. But because it was a by committee, and Ko'awa was making very good decisions all day long. Some of his throws were a little bit off, but when it mattered, he found his man. He found his receivers on the slants, he found them on the outs, and he made great decisions in split-second moments. And let's not forget to mention his touchdown run, where he ran over not two, but three defenders on his way to the end zone, and one of them being a linebacker. And so he was absolutely massive in just getting his unit to settle down when there's a few penalties. I believe he had 2 or 3 throwing touchdowns. He did have the 1 interception, but overall, I think he did a great job in managing the game and making plays in split-second decision moments.
Tayton Kawa, there you have it, gets the player of the game from Andrew Peterson. If you're an SEC fan, if you're an Alabama fan, stay tuned. He's going to be something to watch for in Tuscaloosa there in a couple of years. Andrew, before we leave tonight, anything you want to say as we finish off?
Well, it's just great to have football back. We've waited all summer long to say football is back. We say it every chance we get during the summer. When we see any practice highlights, when there's fall camp, we say football is back. It's not truly back until there are games. I'm pleased to say there are games now. We had one last night. We had many tonight. Football is back in the state of Utah. There are few statements that make me more overjoyed than to say football is back.
I'm getting chills as he's saying that, and make sure to be following the Apollo Streams social media. That's Apollo Streams on Facebook and Instagram to stay tuned for where we'll be next week. Orem does take on Lone Peak next week. We'll see if we get the opportunity to cover that game. I'm hearing ESPN perhaps might be covering that game, so stay tuned. Make sure you're following our social medias. But for Andrew Peterson, for Glenn Barrett, our cameraman, for Apollo Oaks, the namesake of Apollo Streams, on the main camera, I'm Cameron Clark, play-by-play voice. Orem Tigers beat the Granger Lancers 42-12. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you next week.